Leave us.
No, you stay here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I've paid you a small fortune.
This gives you power over me?
Only from T.P.O.T Media. Open your minds. And peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Tonight, another challenge show tonight. We're gonna have Lady Topaz in the house, and she'll be taking on all comers. She'll be taking on what's up, peace, brother Hulk. I see you up there, man. What's good with it? Yeah, Lady Topaz is in the house tonight, and she will be taking on challengers. So we're gonna see what's good. But before we get started, y'all know I always start the show off with thanking you, good folks, for all you do for this here platform, because you know you don't have to do it. You don't have to watch these damn live streams and these videos. You don't have to show up here every week. You don't have to like it. You don't have to share it. And you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces on this platform. But you choose to do so. I'm thankful, man. I'm honored. I'm appreciative. I'm humbled by it, by the support that I get. You know, like I say every night when I come up here, I appreciate you good folks, man. I don't take y'all lightly. You know, I don't take what you do lightly. I don't take your support lightly. I don't. And I don't say it to pander to y'all or kiss your black butts, because by now y'all done realize that I don't kiss no butts. I say it because I genuinely mean it. And I appreciate all you good folks, man. I appreciate all you good folks that hang out there, and you good folks who hang out in here. All right. Now, before I bring in Lady Topaz, y'all know I got to hit y'all in the head with some programming notes. Tomorrow night, the one and only Red's the Bad Guy. Yeah, that's right. Red's the Bad Guy will be in the house, and we will be chopping it up, you know, have a little interview with Brother Reg, and we're calling it The Bad Guy Cometh. So make sure you're here tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. It ought to be good, man. Reg was here. It's been a while, man. He was here, though. He was here, I believe, about 2 years ago. So it's been a while since Brother Reg has been on. So we're gonna chop it up. It's gonna be a meeting of the old niggas. So make sure you have your behinds here. All right. All right. So let's get at it. I believe Lady Topaz is in the house. Without further delay, Lady Topaz,
Yes. Hi, Prophet of Thought. How are you?
what's good with it? What's good with it? I'm glad you here doing this. Been a while since I had a lady come on for a challenge, so I appreciate you coming through and you know, well, let me tell you how we do this before we even get.
Okay.
You basically can lay out whatever premise you want, and whoever feels the need that they want to come up here and challenge said premise, if you agree to the challenge, it's on. Pretty much, pretty cut and dry.
Okay.
You know, and those of you who don't know, uh, Lady Topaz is part of the For the Record TV crew. So get on down there, check out For the Record TV, Lady Topaz, Brother Bitcoin L, and Brother Third Ward Colombian. Get on down there and check them out. Because if y'all don't, y'all know what I'll do. Yeah. Um, yeah, Lady Topaz, whatever you want to lay out. If there's anything particular that you want to discuss, you have the floor. If anybody wants to come up here and challenge said premise, it's on. So you got it. What you got for me?
Well, I mean, well, you know what? I thought that other people were going to have something that they wanted to say to me. So I'm trying to think of the most controversial things because, I have been able to be on here without a whole lot of controversy. The things that have caused little dust ups on here was whether or not I think swirling or leaving the Black community is a good idea. If anybody wants to debate or challenge that.
Okay. So have at it. What's your point of view on those things?
Well, in my belief, I think that it's not a good idea for us to do it en masse. Like maybe one person or a group here or, just smaller numbers, then fine. And that would only be, in my opinion, something that anybody should go for if you just so happen to meet an individual person out of a different culture and you and that person hit it off. I don't think it should be a whole movement because you are dissatisfied with what is happening in the culture that you were born into. To me, I feel like that means that you are just giving up. When you see a problem, do you think that the first thing to do is to just leave and quit and give up and not try to do anything about it? Or do you make a whole movement saying, okay, I'm just going to walk off? Some things in life, yes, that's a good idea, but certain things that you cannot escape from, like your race and your ethnicity, you cannot change that. You can't escape from that. So no matter where you go, you are still going to be part of this community anyway. You're just going to be telling people that you're not part of this community. Do I understand their frustration? Yes, but I think that that's not the right answer.
Mm, okay. So there's the premise. If you feel like you want to come and challenge,
Yeah, you see Bitcoin L's comment, that right there. So I'm gonna turn off the camera when it's time to actually debate. But yeah, I figure since we just talking and you have on your camera, I might as well join.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's on you. Um, Now, well, this is what I'm gonna do because y'all know how I do it here. If you want to come up here and you want to challenge Lady Topaz, y'all know what you got to do. You got to go ahead and hit me on my email if you want to come through and you want to challenge Lady Topaz. The email is prophetofthought@yahoo.com. That's prophetofthought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. Um, we're going to do it as a formal debate for anybody who wants to come up here. It's not going to be one of those knockdown drag outs because y'all know how we do the debates here. You know, the clock and the whole nine. So that's where we at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probe Lady Topaz a little bit about her premise and see if I can bring something out that'll make y'all want to come up here. So you said that you said that even though you may get with somebody that's white or Latino or Asian or whatever, you're still a black person. Um, do you think that people are less black because they're dating someone or married to someone who is white or Latino or Asian or Martian? Does that make them less black?
No. But here's the thing is that certain people that I've had like conversations about it with, they seem to believe that that is a possibility. So I don't think that they're less black. I feel like they are less involved in things that are considered black culture, but they're still impacted by it.
Okay.
So therefore, they still haven't escaped it. You are still going to be black. You are always going to be black. Everyone's going to see you and perceive you as such, no matter who you're with. So if you're going to date outside of the race, you need to still have some positive connection to your culture, because if you don't, then you won't be looked at as, a person that has an opinion that could be valid. Like you aren't taken very seriously by the other culture anyway. And then at that point, aren't you kind of like in the same predicament you were in the black community? Unheard, undervalued, unappreciated.
Well, when you think about people who date or marry out of their race, I'm familiar with it. What's good, brother? Cool Jen, I see you up there, brother. Brother Supreme in the house. What's good with it, brothers? I'm familiar with this stuff because my wife is black, but I have two sons, and both of my sons are married to Latino women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they've always had an affinity for, Latino broads. I think my youngest son even dated a white girl for a little while. And I'm going to be honest, and I've told this story a million times, that at first, I wasn't cool with it at first. All right. I just wasn't. Um, but I grew into it eventually. As they start to sell, pops, marry these girls, the whole thing. And then, my grandbaby start to come in. Once my grandbaby started to come in, that just changed everything. I mean,
Yeah.
my first they were my first grandchildren. So I stopped caring who their mother was, after that, because these are my boys, I mean, these are my boys, my men. So, who their mothers were, that became less and less relevant as time went on. Um, Now I know that people have a problem with people, dating, outside their race, or whatever the case may be. But I think no matter what, you're still a black man. Um, you're still a black woman, no matter who you could marry a Martian. You don't become half Martian, because you're sleeping with a Martian.
Right.
You go to bed at night, you're still a black man, you're still a black woman. What I think people have a problem with, I think people think that, if you're marrying or dating someone who isn't black, it's somehow sucking the black out of you. Uh, I disagree with that. Uh, I just do. I disagree with that. Um, I guess I'm kind of biased because of my sons. My thing is that I want my sons to be happy, and they're happy, and like my grandbabies, I love them to death. I pump a person full of holes over them little jokers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm somewhat biased. I'm somewhat biased in that sense. But I'll say again, in the beginning, I didn't like it either. I was like, when they first came home with these girls, these accents, and I was younger. I was a lot younger because you talking, 15 years ago or so. 14, 15 years ago. So, I mean, I was in a different state of mind back then. Uh, I thought about things differently, but as I've gotten older, I'm an old nigga now. So, I don't see things the same way. I think people get mad at the reasons that people do it. Like you just expressed a little while ago, like they've given up on black folks, they've given up on, black society, whatever the case may be, and they went that way. I think that's what bothers people more than anything else. Because I don't think anybody wants people to do something that doesn't make them happy. I don't believe that.
Well, and you know what, Teapot, I do want to just say one thing. Earlier when you said, do I feel like it sucks the black out of them? No, I don't think that is possible. And then another thing is that, okay, so these past 15 years where your sons have had and made families and brought you grandbabies that have the mixture of an additional culture in addition to black, right? That shaped, like, if they had never done that, if they had married black women, you would still have the same thought process you had back then. The thing that shaped you to be more tolerant now is the fact that it is in fact in your life and it's not going anywhere. So I'm not preaching for us to be intolerant. Part of what I believe is best for the world is coexistence, tolerance, understanding of other cultures, having a mutual respect, and then being able to still stand your ground with yours and requiring that they give you the same mutual respect. That's my end goal. That's what I think coexistence and a peaceful world would look like. But, if you hadn't been exposed to that, and here's another thing, if they're in your life this much, that means that those children are still getting their black culture, because I'm sure that you are still talking to them about their black culture. They also have joined and become part of your son's culture. So your son brought them over here, is what it sounds like. They didn't take your son over to their own culture.
That's true. I mean, I just saw my grandbabies. I think that was about a month and a half ago. And they call themselves black. So, I mean,
and I'm sure, according to, with them being raised with you, I'm sure they know what it means too. They're not just saying it because the world told them. They understand it and live it.
Yeah, they say pop, we black. So who am I to tell them that they're not? So, I mean, fine by me, because I feel like you can be whatever you want to be, and what I do tell them is that, you know who your mother is, and their mothers don't really have a problem with it, because their mothers kind of consider themselves black. I mean, they're not white Latinos, they're not the white Latinos.
Well, okay, now see, then then that's not necessarily the setup that I had in mind. I mean, in that case, yeah.
Yeah, they're more of a creamy kind of color. They're not white. They're more like a creamy,
don't make that a thing. Don't have people go around calling themselves creamy. We're not doing that. All right, we're not adding no more colors. no textures, none of that.
I've said it to them. I said it to them. I'm like, y'all ain't white. You're kind of creamy. And they consider themselves, quote unquote. They consider themselves quote unquote black. So who am I to tell them otherwise? But they have the accents. My oldest son's wife, she's actually she's from Nicaragua. Yeah, she's literally from there. My youngest son's wife is Puerto Rican. So, they're these Latino chicks. And I mean, they're part of my family. They have my last name because my sons do. So they're part of the tribe now. They've been assimilated into the old X tribe. So they're just two extra members of the tribe, and they've brought about 3 of my grandbabies. And I love my grandbabies to death. And the girls, they're good, sweet girls. They're not these shabby girls. They wasn't baby mamas. When my sons met them and all that kind of stuff. So, all the boxes are pretty much checked with them. So, I don't really have a problem with it at all.
So let me ask you this. Did you have these boxes that like before your sons met women who weren't black? Because you said they used to date women who weren't black. Did you have these boxes and you know what you put those boxes on the checklist for? You already had that set up before your sons started to date out.
Yeah, because I would have felt the same way if their wives were black. You know, I wouldn't have wanted them to be with some hooch. I wouldn't have wanted them to be with some chick. She got 3 baby daddies already and she only 20. You know, I wouldn't have wanted them for that either way. All right. Whether the girl was black, green, orange, purple, from Jupiter, I wouldn't have wanted that for my boys. All right. I just wouldn't have. So pretty much the same rules applied. It just so happened that these girls are Latino, you know, and like I said in the beginning, I had somewhat of a problem with it. I don't know why, but you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, why can't y'all get with some, you know, some black girls? You know, in my
That was
mind,
your first preference. That would have been ideal. But if they
yeah,
didn't and they got with a woman out of a different culture, she needed to have been willing to, join in and respect and learn and understand black culture, raising your children to know and understand and live black culture since they are in fact black. You
mhm.
had checklists that it wasn't just, willy-nilly is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, they would have done what they wanted to do anyway, but you know, being that you know I'm the chief of this here tribe, you know, I have certain expectations. But like, but like I said, I came around. You know, I eventually came around, and like I said, you know, once the grandbabies start being born, you know, I mean, they're my grandbabies, no matter who their mama is or what they look like or what their skin tone is. And because, you know, they're somewhat mulatto looking, you know, you can look at them and tell they're mixed race grandchildren, you know. But like I said, they my grandbabies. So I
Right.
don't give a damn if their mama was, you know, from outer space. You know, it wouldn't have mattered whatsoever. You know, they my grandbabies no matter what. So you know, it's not even a thing anymore. I mean, shoot, my oldest
Right.
grandkid is like 14, so it's like
But look,
it's not
but look how your
not even a
sons
thing.
handled it, though. That's way different than what I'm hearing in these conversations. Your sons handled it to where your children are familiar and actually living in Black culture. Your sons didn't take your legacy, your descendants, and just run off and raise them to never look back. That's a problem, and I think it's a problem in terms of behavior because it's not something that can actually be achieved. You just feel like it's been achieved, and then you get it comes back to bite you, the fact that you thought that you got away.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess it's and you have a challenger too. I just sent them the link, so you
Oh, I'm shocked. Okay.
do have a challenger coming up.
Okay.
You do have a
Let's see.
challenger.
My first debate over here, so we'll see. Wish me luck.
Hmm. I did send the link. And Lady Topaz is ready to throw down. She's ready to throw down. The good doctor is in the house. What's good, Doc? Dr. Yaya in the house. My good friend, Dr. Yaya. Doc, when you coming back to do the Ask the Doc? You know I'll come knocking, Doc. You know I'll bug the hell out of you till you say yes, Doc. I will bug the hell out of you, Doctor. Yeah, you have a challenger, and I'm assuming you're probably going to have another one because of this here subject here. Yep,
So wait a minute. Okay,
there.
but I'm only debating one at a time, right?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't ask you to debate multiple people.
I mean, if that's how y'all run it, I'm just
No,
curious.
might be one on one, and
Okay.
your challenger has arrived,
Okay.
Brother Supreme.
Oh Lord, SKC. All right.
What's going on, Nick? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you low though, man. You got to turn your microphone up. You low. It's like a whisper.
Is that better?
There it is. There it is. Yeah,
Okay.
so are you here to challenge Lady Topaz on this here subject, my brother?
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to get a better understanding of her position first. I mean, because I caught the tail end of it. I got an email saying, "SKC, you need to come over to X," and so I was like, "Okay, let me."
Oh man, so wait, somebody came and
Yeah,
that y'all went
yeah,
told on me. I don't care, whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah. So,
my position is that if it's like smaller groups of people who want to do that, then hopefully it's not because they are upset with what's happening in Black culture. Hopefully it's because they found an individual in a different culture that just so happens to have a lot in common with them and check off their boxes, and they are in love with and want to marry and make a family with this individual's personality, not just like running away from what's still left over here. The other thing is that we can't do it all in mass. It has to be only smaller numbers, because no matter if you're running away because you don't like what's happening over here, that's not the right answer, because you still will never run away from what's over here. You're still going to be considered a Black person. You are still going to be tied in with what's going over here. It's just now you don't have a say anymore because you're not here to make your voice heard.
oh, okay, yeah, I'll be a Huckleberry.
All
All right,
right.
SKC.
All right. So what are we billing the debate as? What should I say we're debating? What should I say we're debating? Or what say you two folks that we're debating here? What are we debating?
Does
Um,
dating out solve the dysfunction in Black community?
Okay. And I'm assuming your position is yes, Brother Supreme.
yeah, I'll take the affirmative on that one.
All right. That would make Lady Topaz the negative, and the negative always goes first. This is how we do this, Lady Topaz. I'm pretty sure you've watched the debates before, so you're probably familiar with the rules. But let me explain them to the folks in the nosebleed seats who may not know them. What we do is we have something called opening statements first. We usually do them for 7 minutes, but we're going to do them for 5 tonight. Each debater gets their opening premise and they get to lay it out. And after we do that, we go into something called the rebuttal round. We're going to keep the rebuttal rounds at 4 minutes per. We'll do 2 rounds of that. Then we go into something called rapid fire. In rapid fire, y'all pretty much go head to head, no clock, no referee, no nothing. We do that for a little while. I guess we'll clock that at like 10 minutes as well. And then we go into closing arguments. Then we go to the polls. All right.
Okay.
So let me get the clock up here.
Man, it's been a while. It's I have to put my debate hat on.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Yeah, man. You already know what it is. Already know what it is. All right. There's our clock. And you are the anti Lady Topaz. 5 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger. Opening statements.
Okay, so today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about why dating out, swirling, all of the new movements, that's not the answer to what we're experiencing here in the Black culture. First of all, yes, there is a Black culture. It may not be something that we're proud of. It may not be something that we're happy about, but it does in fact exist. It exists because you live in it every single day. We all have certain responses to certain situations. We all know what to expect when we go certain places. We may not be able to put it into words, but we do know it when we see it. And so therefore, it is something that needs to be protected, because there's never going to be a time period where there is zero culture. That doesn't exist. So the best that you can do is make small changes. And this is one of the changes that I think will make the biggest difference. If we stay here and we stop looking at the answer as for us to leave. First of all, where do we get the answer for us to just give up on things and to walk away? We're supposed to be a culture of people who are very highly intelligent. We we are able to fix a lot of the problems if we sit down and think about it and think it all the way through. So therefore, I think that we are losing a lot of the people that will be very helpful. Every voice needs to be heard. Everybody's opinion needs to be added into our eventual solution, which there is. There is a solution. We can fix this. So even if you are one person that just so happens to find your great love outside of the community, that could be something that you go and practice. But I don't think you need to recruit people and make it an entire movement. I think that if you're able to stay here and live here every day until you find that person outside of the community, you're able to stay here and fix things here so that you will have somebody to pick from this community. If you leave and you don't do anything for it, then that means that your answer, you're basically confirming what you already feel and not giving it a shot. You'll live with a regret, and you may not want to admit it, but there will still be a regret anytime you give up on what you were born here for. Everybody was born here in a certain predicament for a certain reason. That's information that we can all use. And I do see the Black community becoming great. I do see us being able to be sustainable, for us to be independent, for us to gain and garner respect from other communities once we get everything put together. So therefore, I think that we still need their voices. And I'm not going to stop anybody from leaving, but I do think that it's not going to solve what you're running from. When you get to the other cultures, they are still going to view you and still going to tie you to whatever happens in this community. And now this community is going to look even worse if the people who understand that this is dysfunctional, that it needs change, and they have a solution that we can use, if those people are going, the community is going to look even worse. So when you go to these other cultures, that's what they're going to tie you into. And that seems like a ripoff, in my opinion, because you aren't part of that, but you still get associated and tied to it. And I can see my time.
All right. Brother Supreme, do you want that 142?
Just as a precaution, I'll go ahead and take it.
All right. Go ahead.
They say you should never underestimate an opponent. So
No. All right.
I don't know. Is that a good thing, SKC?
6:42 on the clock. Opening statements. Brother Supreme, pull the trigger.
sure, you can shoot fire away. You know, we've gone over this topic quite a bit, and I think one of the first things that needs to be understood is the difference between the quote unquote pink pill or swirling movement and that of SYSBM. Just as the title is stated, SYSBM means save yourself, Black man. So the question comes up is what are you saving yourself from? A lot of people have asked that question over the years. Well, some have taken the thought of, oh, you're running away from this or that, or that you're saving yourself from Black women and all of that. But no, it's actually you're saving yourself from a subculture. Now, Topaz was right by stating that there is a Black culture. The problem is that it has been overcome by a Black subculture. That Black subculture came into existence in the mid 60s and was pushed by Black feminism, mainly, and a lot of other smaller movements that attached themselves to the civil rights movement, the Black civil rights movement. During that time, you had instances of welfare and marriage to the state. Before the 60s, home ownership, Black businesses, Black families increased even during the harshest moments of the Jim Crow era. However, after the civil rights movement, particularly when black women began to voice very strong opinions, things within the black family started to fall apart. All the way, we take that all the way to today, where we have individuals talking about WAP, having the ability to use that type of influence to get into politics, to grab the political ears of individuals, even from the president all the way down to other individuals like senators and House members like Maxine Waters and so forth. Those things do not represent black men at all. Not one bit. And these are the things that black women have sued for. They've pushed for. They have separated themselves from black men by stating they're the most educated class. They have separated themselves by stating in politics, aka Simone Sanders. Why don't black men just shut up when it comes to politics? Those are her words, not black men. She was referring back to Luke Campbell. And she stated that concerning other black men. When black men have been on national TV about various subjects, various things, you've seen black women attack them on national TV. Take, for instance, when Nate Parker was just giving a story about his new movie at the time, 12 Years a Slave, just wanted to get out a message about a powerful black man in history, Nate Turner. Robin Robbins, oh, what about this rape case or whatever that happened 16, 17 years ago? These are things that happen that black women have pushed and they have celebrated almost. I'll top it off with the thought of Kobe. Dude dies 24 hours. It before 24 hours could pass, they already on the dude's back about where his money going. See, this is that subculture that started way back in the 60s and has slowly progressed and grew all the way up to this day. And it has totally separated itself from black men as a whole. That's why you see movements like a Black Lives Matter, which is led by 3 black women. And where does any of that money go? Did it go to any upbuilding of black men or to try to keep them safe or to improve their lots and lives? No, not at all. So yeah, those black men that want to do something different, that want to escape from that subculture, they need to go somewhere else. They need to seek out another culture and remember the old culture that came from the older times with black men and bring those thoughts and those ideas over to cultures that actually respect them and want to have certain things like viable relationships, marriages, strong families, and the like. I'll see the rest of the time.
All right. That's going to take us into the rebuttal round. Let me go ahead and set the clock. I ain't got my timekeeper tonight, y'all. So, y'all got to bear with me. Yeah. He does a much better job than I do.
That's okay. We got you.
That's why he's the timekeeper and I'm not. All right. 4 minutes on the clock. This is the rebuttal round. Lady Topaz, pull the trigger.
Okay, so the first thing that you mentioned was you wanted to draw a distinction between divestment and swirling women versus one particular movement, which you mentioned specifically was SYSBM. In the name, it says Save Yourself Black Men. When I first heard the name of this movement, I actually checked out some of the videos because what I was thinking is that it was going to be saving yourself Black men in terms of what you should be doing and not letting women and sex have all of the power and the attention in your life, which I fully support. I don't know if you've heard me with some of my discussions that I've had, but I do not buy into, nor do I condone or support a lot of the things that I believe that Black women do to ourselves that causes a lot of the dysfunction. And I do speak out against it, with the voice that I do have, right? So to me, I was looking for something a little bit different to support. But what I found was a lot of men who seemed to be very angry. Now, I didn't stay to find out what they were angry at because they were mentioning things that they didn't like about Black women. And I felt like they had some valid points. My only issue is I'm not telling you guys that Black culture doesn't need an overhaul and a reform. I've even spoken on my channel about what that overhaul and what that reform would be. What I'm saying is the answer isn't the men that see it for what it is leaving. The answer is for you to stay and recognize the power that you do in fact have. I personally don't think that Black women are something you need to save yourself from, not because I agree with their behaviors, but because you already have power to stop a lot of the things that you do not like. I'm not speaking of you going out doing anything illegal or, committing any domestic violence cases. You have the power to simply just not oblige. But for every woman that you guys are not happy with that is speaking out about how good her WAP is and what it can make a man do, there is a man somewhere, and in a lot of cases, a group of men somewhere telling her that this is okay and that they enjoy this behavior. There is a market for it. And so what I'm saying is that you leaving lets that you mentioned also at some point in your response, you mentioned that the subculture that was initially dysfunctional ended up overtaking the overall culture. Yeah. Well, that tends to happen when people stop speaking and when people leave, when people are no longer invested or engaged. They win. You can't let the people that are dysfunctional win. You have to fight. You have to make them work for it, make them earn it, not just handing it over to them, because what that says is anytime somebody wants something, all they have to do is get loud. They don't have to have an actual position or a point. They, why? Certain women who, by the way, the WAP song did not come from a Black woman. It came from a Latina woman that we have a lot of Black women have been telling her that she's not Black. Okay. Let's just put it, let's get that out there. So that came from a Latino woman, and she's louder than the choir of women. And what can the choir of women say to the louder women? They get the most attention. I think that as adults, by the time we're adults, we need to realize that what we give attention to grows and what we don't give attention to starves. If this continues, we're going to have a lot of women yelling and singing about their WAP, and then WAP is going to be making all the political decisions. And with America being so much more of a force to be reckoned with in the globe, that is going to spread, and eventually you won't have a place to run to.
All right. I guess are you conceding that?
Yes, the 11 seconds.
All right. Brother Supreme, do you want that 11 seconds?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead. All right. 4:11 on the clock. Pull the trigger.
All right, so I'll repeat again. It's not about running from Black women. It's about getting away from a subculture. Now, there was a thought stating, okay, well, why don't you change the culture? Well, in order to change the culture, you have to change the mindsets of individuals. It's not a thing of just sitting in a particular area or being around a certain group of people and sticking to your guns and trying to convince them otherwise. That's not how culture is changed. Individuals have to want to make that change for themselves. So while it may sound brave and courageous for women to state, oh, well, why don't you just stick it in there? You have to fight for it and whatnot and such and such. It's like, okay, what does that really consist of? So let's break that down. sticking it out. That means you are sitting in with a group of individuals. Let's say you have a man who tries to stick with one group of women. That means he has to go through this failure rate, even if he gets involved with someone. And let's say, like some have, and they try to build a family, and then they try to insulate that family from all of the other negative influences of that subculture. Even if they're able to save that relationship, then they have to insulate their kids as well, because the subculture's kids are trying to teach the kids otherwise. So it's a self-defeating enterprise to try to stay within a subculture and to try to fix it. Now, this whole idea about, this woman was the loudest, or this woman was a Latina and so forth, with the whole Cardi B thing. Okay, I think that was Megan the male horse that was in there with her, and the supposedly intelligent, educated, powerful, influential Black women who are supposed to be above board accepted her and also co-signed. You have these type of individuals, like, take for instance, politicians. I just named one, Maxine Waters. She co-signed and met with the lady and want to hear her ideas. So to say, that's some other woman from some other culture. No, this one, you have ones that are within that culture that have power, and they are co-signing this type of behavior. And even the ones that you say, that you may come up and say, well, that was just one person. Well, where the supposedly strong, family-oriented Black women that are of influence that are speaking out against this stuff? No, they don't. They are silent, and silence is complicit. So, people can say what they want, but Black women have shown throughout time, even in old times, even down to today, that when these subcultures come in and when they have all these different things that are detrimental towards families and building up community, they don't even want to fight for it. And they have the power in the numbers.
All right. That's time. Put 4 minutes on the clock here. Lady Topaz, you are up. Pull the trigger.
Okay. Well, one thing I did hear you ask, which is a very valid question, right? Where are the women who are calm, who are feminine, who are against all of the things that contribute to the dysfunction in the Black community? Where are they? Where are the ones with influence, right? Well, here's the thing. In the way the culture is set up right now, women like that do not have influence. Why? Influence is gained by votes, which indicates followers. And if social media is in any indication of where the influence is being given, it will be given to the women that you see that have, the voices as it stands today. So now what happens to those women who are calm, who don't go along with the dysfunction, right? Well, they are in fact silenced. They are silenced by the women, but that can only be if those women are, also silenced by men. Every time I hear a man that says, well, a woman who's feminine doesn't, raise her voice. No, yes, she does. It's about what makes her raise her voice. It's about what scares her. It's about what makes her speak out and say, this is not okay. It's about what makes her, become a person who is now ready and capable to have any kind of defense against things that we claim that we don't like. So, you can't have it both ways. Those women are quiet because that's the role that they're supposed to be in. They aren't supposed to be saying anything. You're not going to be able to find those type of women out there on the front lines, because that's not in fact what we teach that femininity means. Now, I also speak against that, and I tell women that consider themselves to be feminine that you do have to have your voice heard. You do have to speak out, but none of these things are going to be happening overnight. In the first rebuttal round, you mentioned that like all of this stuff started in the 60s with the feminist movement and all of that, right? Well, we're one step closer to the solution. I'm not telling you that you have to stay over here, and I'm not setting you up for anything that will be, that will come up to be like a suicide mission. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't have an idea, something going forward. So if we know the beginning point, then we're halfway to the solution. Why can't we use that information and go back to whatever shielded us from the dysfunction that we have here today? And here's the tip: it's not slavery. So I'm not going back that far. That's not what shielded us. What shielded us was a sense of unity and an end goal. We all saw a same vision. Right now, our vision is, splintered. Everybody has a different view of what they want the end goal to look like. And so if we, those people who are not part of the dangerous subculture that you mentioned, that means that there is still a part of Black culture that has not been damaged. If we link up with like-minded individuals like that and we talk about what we want the vision to be, and then we make our voices heard. When I speak about what I think that a positive Black culture could look like, people do seem intrigued. They do seem like it solves a lot of the problems. They do seem like it sounds peaceful. So I have gotten positive responses. It's just not enough people, because I get a lot of people who want to shush me the first time I say, hey, we don't have to throw the whole race away. It was the same way it flipped. It didn't happen overnight. You can flip everybody back. And that's not going to happen overnight either. It may not be something that we will be here for, but our children will be. Our grandkids will be. And I personally want my grandkids and my great, 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 great grandkids to look something like me. I don't want them to be, completely unrecognizable. So I don't think that this is, something that's very hard for us to do. I do see us succeeding if people are willing to join in and show something positive that can be a part of Black culture. And then we can be known for that instead of the dysfunction.
All right. This is going to be the last installment of the rebuttal round. Then we're going into rapid fire. 4 minutes on the clock. Brother Supreme, pull the trigger.
Sure. I like how the passion that Lady Topaz has on this whole thing about race and whatnot. I mean, if you want to go into the scientific realm of it, there is no such thing as race. If we want to go there. Secondly, with the whole idea of say, turning things over and kind of flip this switch and have things revert back to some old time positive Black power, Black community and so forth. I think you answered your own question when you stated that, or the answer to your own problem when you just stated there's just not enough people. And there simply isn't enough. I mean, you can tell just by looking at how people react to certain things within social media in itself. All of the garbage that goes out, you get lots of response. If you have individuals talk about positive stuff within the Black community or whatnot, crickets. You could probably barely get a 1,000 views. So, I mean, that tells you that the subculture does not want what you're seeking. And it's admirable that, you go back and you want to see things, how they used to be or whatnot. But, I mean, you just have to accept it. Part of a dying breed. The majority of individuals that have the same look and so forth, they don't want what you want. And it's okay. It's fine. You just have to be able to understand that you got to let it go. So, if you if you look at a lot of the younger crowd that's coming up underneath us, they're not even on this whole thing of, saving the Black community and so forth. All of that stuff is dying by the wayside. And And I understand why. It's like there's just, like I said, there's just not enough people and that are willing to do that. And I hate to just continue to put this down the throats of people for them to help them to understand, but it's like the Black community, it's already dead. It's on its last leg, man. It's on its very last leg. And I want you to think about something really seriously. What would it actually take in order to completely change the culture? Think about that. I'm gonna go back and forth with you during the rebuttal round about this. And the last question I ask you, so you can think about it. Would you rather have offspring that look like you or ones that retain your principles and values? If you just had to choose one, what would it be? For them to look like you or, again, retain the principles and values that you pass down? I'll see the time.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the rapid fire. We're going to clock it. We'll clock it at 12 minutes. All right. Because we went short on the rebuttal and the opening statement. So we'll clock it at 12 minutes. We left off with Brother Supreme. So we'll start rapid fire off with Lady Topaz. Lady Topaz, pull the trigger. This is rapid fire.
Okay, well, I actually have an answer for your question where you said, what would it look like, right? But let me answer the other question you had. Yes, being logical, I would rather for my descendants to have the values and thoughts and behaviors that I want to pass down to them. Yes, I would rather that over them looking like me. But I'm not accepting the fact that I can't have both. Because what difference does it make if the people that are doing these things don't have any resemblance to me? Because then it's going to be given as credit to somebody else. And I think that as Black people, we've had enough of people taking things from us and not allowing us to have our own credit, and then leaving us with holding the bag of all of the negative things. It would be the equivalent of you being in a relationship where everything good that comes from that relationship was the other person's doing, and everything that was bad was your doing. That's not how any relationship works ever. So therefore, I think that I should not just let them. They didn't ask me, the negative subculture didn't ask me what I wanted when they started doing something. So therefore, I'm not going to ask them what they want. When you ask me what would it look like if we were to be able to fix the community, I get the feeling that you think that I'm saying for you to come back and just hand over all of your hard-earned assets and all of that. No, what I'm saying is if you took the time and took the straight and narrow road, you're going to have more resources available, and eventually those people are going to have to come to you, and that's when you require compliance. You will be on top. I don't understand why you think coming back means that they're just going to be able to step all over you, because that's not how the world works. That's never been how it's worked.
No, it's not a whole thing about coming back and lording it over people. It's not even about the whole resources thing. It's about the mindset. You can give resources to individuals and they still squander it and don't understand how to build because they don't value your principles.
They're not going to be in charge of anything to be building anything. You're going to put it in place and they're going to get right or get left. The thing is, you would have most of the power then. So let's say you come back with all of your money and you build a business. I didn't say you'd have to be lording it over them, but they are going to need jobs. And when they get there, there's certain things that you're going to require in order to employ them. And if they don't do it, they will not be able to feed their family and wear all of these clothes and do all of this flashy stuff that makes them believe mistakenly that they're winning. You would be the one that is not even, and by teaching them different values and a different mindset, you'll be requiring. So even if they don't believe it or don't like it, they'll be miserable, but their children will see the benefit. And that's who is going to be the ones that will actually start to believe it. And so therefore they're going to get ridden out. And then they will be the group of people who will, like, how'd you call it earlier, the last of a dying breed, they will be the last of a dying breed. And, this sector likes to talk about movies. Well, if you've ever watched any of those, movies about history and what happened before, all our new advances, they fought all of the time. It was always somebody, going a little too far, trying to overtake something that belonged to somebody else. And they either had two choices, either, fight back or give it up. And so therefore, what I'm saying is right now, what we're doing is just handing it over. Why?
I'll answer a question that's relevant in the chat to this back and forth and get right to you.
Okay.
I would reject a reparations check. And here's the reason why. Many individuals would think that, oh man, free money, such and such. No. See, that's the thing about family values. Family values in mind, we don't want handouts. Period. We want to work for ours. We want to deserve it based upon what has happened here. So I don't think that you could be able to convince individuals who have came up on continuous handouts, continuous government needs to intercede in order to fix our problems type of thinking. You're not going to be able to convince people who believe that's the correct way of living.
Okay,
Because
so what if I were to...
once a person falls into that type of mindset, they believe that government can then legislate their family. And
Okay.
that's why you have so many issues with government, and I would go into the whole democratic process and the Democrats and so forth, and black women, and why they have
no,
continue
before
and why
you do
they
that,
continue to support them at a 90%
let
rate
me
and all
answer
of that
what you
stuff
just
is
said.
because they want big daddy government in order to legislate their lives and their family.
Okay, but you're still talking about them. You're focusing on them. I'm here with you right now trying to say what we're going to put in place. Here's the thing that I've said about reparations, and I'm sure somewhere over here on YouTube, in maybe one of my chats, whatever. My view of reparations, first of all, everybody else that got reparations, see, the reason why those cultures were able to get reparations and we can't is because they at least, right, they don't seem to be threatening. Those are cultures that, oh, well, if we get reparations, this is what we're going to do with it. I don't believe in giving every single household reparations. I got yelled at in my own chat a couple of days ago because I feel like people who have foresight, right, who are forward thinking, who can see something positive for the Black community, and I think that reparations should not be a check anyway. It should be things like absolutely free education, free healthcare. That way you are healthy and you can gain knowledge. You may not be able to go to the mall and spend all of it, but you will definitely be educated. And so in order for you to get a check in your hand, you need to build something in the community that is going to have people spending their hard-earned dollars with our community. So I already have a plan for what I think reparations should be like, and I got yelled at by people like that, but guess what? I don't care. I'm not listening to that, because any way that I get Topaz President 2024, if I get to be the president, and I'm just playing around right now, that is what I would do with
that's
it.
fine. That's fine. I just wanted to add, you said the other people that received reparations didn't seem threatening.
Yeah, they don't. What do you think that?
Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put 10 more minutes on the clock for this because I gotta go outside because my damn dog is going crazy and this is getting good. I'm gonna be able to hear y'all, but I'm gonna put 10 more minutes. I'm gonna put 10 more minutes on the clock because I gotta go outside. I think somebody might be here. My dog is
do your thing next. Okay. So you telling me that the individuals that bombed Pearl Harbor were not threatening? Are you telling me that the individuals that have Iran and Iraq and Palestine on edges with the threat of nuclear assault are non-threatening?
Well, okay, so the Japanese people that got, their reparations that were here, they got that because they were here. And that they got put in concentration camps after all of that. The American Indians are not threatening.
Because the country feared,
Jewish people are non-threatening.
Because the country feared that they could give information back to Japan, who had just bombed the crap out of Pearl Harbor. Threatening.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So do you think that we don't deserve it? Do you think that we haven't already done the work and that we have also been discriminated against systemically, not just, oh, they don't like us and they, don't say anything to us. You don't think that they have disadvantaged, that they gave us the 40 acres and a mule and then found a way to legislate it back to themselves? What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter. We are owed the reparations, but what are we going to do with it? And I was with you when you said that there needs to be a mindset change. And if I'm the one that's in charge of how we spend the reparations, I'm just thinking that if I can speak it enough, maybe somebody in the big places will hear it, and maybe, right, we have a chance. But if not, then I'm going to take my money and the wealth that I'm able to amass while I'm here, reparations or not, and that's what I'm going to be doing with it. If I build any
Well,
businesses in the
well,
Black
you, well,
community, that's
you,
what I'm going to be requiring.
well, you know what was part of reparations? If we want to just dig there for a little bit,
Well, this isn't about reparations, but go ahead. What was part of it?
BLM, close
That
to
is,
ten,
listen,
close
no.
to $10 billion, and it has gone to, and it was in the hands of 3 black women. What did they do with it?
First of all, they did not label that reparations, so they can give it to Black Lives Matter and then let those women do whatever they want to. The government gave that money to 3 black women who were running Black Lives Matter. That is not my reparations. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That is between them and BLM.
On the backs and bodies of dead black men.
See, and this is the problem. Why are they the ones that are allowed to talk? Now, when you said earlier that other women should be speaking out, that is what I am trying to do. But I'm gonna need some support, because what good is it for me to tell women to come out, speak, say something, be loud, have your voice heard, if all that they're going to ever encounter is that negative subculture that you were talking about, who's going to beat them back into the house? That means it's
Right.
never going to happen. And so my issue is, you can leave if you feel like you are done, if you personally have gotten frustrated, but don't try to like recruit and make a whole movement where more
It's not
people who
even,
haven't even gone through whatever it is that made you make that decision. They haven't even experienced that, but they're just going to go ahead and jump into
it's
that
not even
and
about
leave
it,
too.
it's not even about recruiting. We're at Dunkirk right now. It's about saving lives. The battle is already over.
And see, I disagree. I don't think it's about saving lives. I think it's about making lives a little bit, like just basically where you think that is going to have less strife in it. When it's going to still have strife, it's just going to have a different type of strife. And a lot of people are willing to choose the devil they don't know over the one that they know, because at least it's variety. It's still negativity. It's still unhelpful. It's still not peace. What I'm talking about is actual real peace. And the only way you get that is when you stand up to, like, let's say you were being bullied. If you leave and change schools, you're going to always be changing schools. And then eventually you're going to have been at all of the schools. And then therefore there is no place else that you can go. And so then what? Then you're going to have to fight back, and you should have just done that in the first place. So now when you brought up the civil rights movement and feminism and all of that, that is the moment where all of this other extra stuff that was going on should have been squelched. Because at that moment, those were the
It
women that
should
you were
have.
dealing with,
It should.
that this was a pipe dream for
And
feminism. They were allowed to get the
you're
feminism because the men said,
absolutely,
okay, whatever, I quit.
and you're absolutely right. It should have been squelched at that moment. But you know what happened?
Okay, go ahead. What happened?
You know what happened?
I mean, I know,
Big
but I'm saying I want you to say the part that you care about.
Big Daddy Government put up, hey, do you want to accept this welfare check? What did black people as a whole vote for?
Well, see, and here's my issue with that.
They said yes. They fell for the trap. And then part of that trap was the dissolvement of your own family structure. So the choice was already made. The toothpaste is already out the tube. There's no putting it back. It's done. There will be no more Cosbys. There will be no more Family Matters. That
Sounds very
that's done.
defeatist. That
That's
sounds
done.
fatigued and defeated. And I get it. I understand that, right? I understand why a person would feel that way. What I'm saying is, it's not the answer, and it's okay. Take a little break,
It's not
get
about feelings.
take a vacation, but then come back ready to fight, because that's what it's going to take. There is
it's
no
not
other
about
way that
feelings.
any other society has ever won over another society without fighting. You don't get to just go and talk to them about it and it's all right.
It's not about feelings. Look at the numbers. It's almost like if you were if we were two generals and we're sitting on a hill and we're looking at a battle ensue on the ground. If I'm telling you, or we're looking, not telling you, we're looking at the numbers and the numbers are saying, hey, ever since 1960, our numbers so far as marriage have never increased, not even 1%. It's been steadily decreasing and steadily going down. At what point do you wave the flag and say, okay, we got to save at least some of the few before it all just goes down to zero?
You don't. And see, and you want to use these wartime analogies, but you do realize that it's death over dishonor, right? Like people would be willing to choose death over just leaving and running and saying, "Now I want to be part of y'all group now. Mine is too bad." And here's another thing. When you see the numbers dwindling initially before it gets down to 1%, you retreat, gain resources and allies, and then come back because you don't get to just keep running. Because if you keep running, they're going to catch you. And then you're dead. That's
Allies with
certain
who?
death. So if you want to use a
Allies with who?
wartime analogy, then you have to understand that the one that you're using wouldn't even be something that the war generals would do. That's not what happened. I'm
Allies
sorry,
with who?
SKC. That's not what they do.
This is interesting.
What, SKC? No, I'm just saying. Tell me, okay, is that have you seen any war where they were like, oh, you know what? It's over. I'm gonna just go ahead and walk out there. No. Even then, they would fall on their own sword. They still wouldn't deliver themselves over into the other camp. Like that's just not how that works.
It's called Dunkirk.
What is that? No, go ahead. What is it? What are you talking about? What is called Dunkirk?
World War II. The English were caught behind enemy lines in France when Germany had came through the forest, and they caught them on the beach, and they were dead. They had to retreat. They had to call in allies. They had doggone civilians that were coming over from the English Channel to try to save people because they were just sitting there, just sitting ducks.
And that's one
or else
group.
It was going to be completely over. Had not Dunkirk happened, had not that massive retreat occurred, Hitler would have won the war.
Well, why didn't they do it?
They did retreat.
Well, you said he would have won the war.
Yes, they would have won unless they would have retreated. There's some things you got to understand that, hey, we're in a situation where you have to retreat. And it's like at this point, what are you talking about? You're talking about getting down to 1% of intact families? That's ridiculous.
Why do you think it's only 1%?
Take
We're
the
not
individuals
at that point
that have
yet.
a mindset of, hey, I do want to have an intact family. I do want to preserve some type of culture or whatnot. Take different tidbits and good things out of what used to be intact Black culture and go elsewhere with it and build with those who want to have that.
I'm not looking at a physical place. I'm not telling all Black people to stay here in America. What I am saying, though, right, is if you go over to these other cultures and let's say that there is Black men that are going over there, and then when you get over there, you're going to require her to live by the things that you still thought was still useful, right, from Black culture. Not, take out all of the stuff that came from the negative subculture and all of that. You are still now creating a Black culture. You are making them respect you. The point is, if you are on their land, they're not going to do so. So what I think is how
are you going to say what other people will and will not do? And the reason I have to know something called
multicultural counseling, which means I have to understand other cultures, and I do know how they think of the things that they don't say out loud.
Okay, the reason why I state that is Frederick Douglass.
What about him?
Okay,
how does that fit?
Okay, it fits in this way. You know who his second wife was, right?
Go ahead, SKC. Get to the point.
Let's just take a gander. Who do you think his second wife was?
I don't know. A white woman. I don't know. I didn't look up.
Yes, indeed. And do you understand the only reason that his monument, so far as his property and land that people can go to and visit to this day, exists
Is because he
was
married the white woman?
because she was trying to preserve his legacy and so forth and would not sell it to other black people who was gonna sell it for profit.
Okay, so now here's the thing, right?
So
So
you can't
if he
say
married
just
a white woman and
automatically
she
that
did all of
somebody's
that,
gonna come in
then
and you
she was
know how
still
they
helping
think
us,
and that
in
they're
which
going
case
to
she can
not
come over
preserve
here.
this
My
or that.
problem is
You
bringing
can't
all of the
say that.
women over here from other cultures that look down on black people and feel like they doing you a favor. You bringing them over here, and then therefore they're still looking down on you. And y'all think I want to see black men have to go through that? I don't like it when black women do it. I don't like it when other races of women do it. So if she was doing all of that, just like I talked with X about his sons, if they are coming over here, right, and they are understanding and they are respecting the fact that they are going to be under a black man, which means you are now coming into black culture, then fine. Come over here, learn, sit down, be respectful, and and everything will be fine because your kids will still be raised as black. If you're leaving, when you say, or at least when I heard SYSBM, right, they were leaving America to go and immerse themselves in a different culture that another group of men have come together and made feasible. Okay, so now those other countries, they've had problems with their governments. There are places that y'all name where the governments have been very intrusive in people's lives. And what's the difference between what happened over there and what happened over here?
It's not about leaving the country. It's
So what
about
is it specifically about? Because see, that was my issue, is that the answer is not just marrying out and saying I'm done with black culture. The answer is, even if
right.
you marry out, you are
The
still going to
answer
practice and live your life
was
as a black man, not being
the
immersed in somebody else's
the
culture.
the answer centered around and continues to center around leaving the subculture alone.
So you're not leaving the whole
Now the
culture. You're
problem
only
is
leaving a
that
small part of the culture.
now the problem is that the vast majority want to hang on to that subculture, and we see the results of that subculture happening out in right now. It is not going to continue to last. It is going to cause individuals to be a permanent underclass.
So what are you proposing that the answer would be? What is it about leaving? When you say leaving, what do you mean? Because you're saying to me now that you're not talking about leaving the whole culture. You're saying only leave the subculture. And that's what I said earlier. So what do you mean when you say leaving black culture? Let the community burn.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everything,
to who are you referring?
the cultures and values that happened after the civil rights, when black people split into all of these different factions, particularly black women, with the whole thing of getting duped by feminism. Everything before that was strong black culture.
So if that happens, then you would not advocate anymore for saving
And there's
yourself
a
in the
and
quotes.
but the problem is that there are very, very few black women that actually respect that type of culture.
Well, they're not going to have no choice if they can see it in
No,
action. Because
no,
here's another
they
thing
do
that I
have a
said
choice.
is that
They
when you
do have a
build these
choice. They have
intact
all
families with
sorts of
like-minded
choices.
men and
They
women,
can
those women are going to
they
see
can
something
go
that they can't have, and they're going to then sit down.
they
And
can
even
go
if they don't admit it to anybody else,
LGBTQ,
they are
they
going
can
to
go
want that,
swirl, they
and
can
they
do a
will get in
whole
line.
bunch of stuff. They have all sorts of options. Some of them have even stated, I'd rather just be on OnlyFans and just do my thing and make my money and blah blah blah.
Well,
That's a
there have been
choice.
prostitutes all throughout history, and if she want to be
That's
on
a
OnlyFans,
choice.
there is a market for that, and let her live. I mean, let her go over there, let her be on OnlyFans. But what she's not going to be
That's
doing is
their
going up there
decision.
talking about this is all black women. She's going to go up there and say, me as a black woman, I am the black woman version, and I'm going to be on here on OnlyFans herself, by herself, is what I'm advocating.
That's a choice. They can do it.
But I would not tell her to go do that in
I say
mass.
let them
She
have
need
it.
to not be recruiting people just like the pink pill. They can't do it in mass. They need to not be recruiting people. If you do it individually on your own, then you say that. You don't say that that's part of the culture, that that's what you're doing, and that's why. You say you made that choice to go out there and date white men. You made that choice to go out there and be on OnlyFans. You made that choice to go out there and date and live and immerse yourself into a different culture. So earlier when you first came in, I
that's the
said
beauty
what you're
of it.
saying now
That's
is
the
that if
beauty of
you're
it,
going to do that,
Topaz.
be on your own doing it. That's not the answer in mass.
Yeah,
Few people need to go do that.
I understand that, Lady Topaz. I actually do. That's one of the major differences that I think that people really don't understand when it comes to like the SYSBM clan, and also people with all this pink pill stuff. Pink pill people, they sitting up and recruiting people, talking about, oh man, you need to do this, you need to do this, such. SYSBM do is telling you, hey, it's already happening. It's not a thing of recruiting. No, it's a thing of, yo, look at, all this stuff has been stated that
I
you're
hear
not
you,
this,
SKC,
that
but
you're
I think that that
dusty,
should not be
you
the
can't
answer.
do
Like, it should
this,
never
you
be
can't
when a
do that
man
in
is
life.
angry at black
No,
culture that you say,
here's the
hey,
proof that
SYSBM
it's
is here to save
already
you.
happened. That's all what the bros are saying.
Okay.
All right. That's going to bring rapid fire to a close. So we're going to go into closing statements. The closing statement started with Lady Topaz. So, Brother Supreme will be starting off the closing statements. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother Supreme, pull the trigger. These are closing statements.
I don't even need that long. I just need maybe a minute. My whole premise on the whole thing of leaving the community and so forth is, look at where the community is now. One thing that uh, studies have already proven is that the two-parent household is the most advantageous household when it comes to generational wealth, legacy, and the upbringing of children. Does it work out perfectly all the time? No, but it is the best model. That's even when it comes to economics. The two-parent family is the quickest way to get out of poverty. Black people have a very high poverty rate in this country in regards to when you compare them to other ethnic groups. However, the portion of them that are married have a poverty rate that is on par with the rest of the other married couples in America. I mean, I think the poverty rate for unmarried individuals in Black communities is right around close to 30%. I think the last time was like 27 and rising. And when you go into the very minority of Black people who are married, their poverty rate is under 10%. So it's, it seems like you could push people to help them to understand that, hey, the traditional family life and so forth, that's the best model for Black people to go, but they've already proven that they don't want that. So you just let brothers know, hey, there's other options out there. There's other people out there. There's other women out there that actually enjoy the traditional lifestyle, enjoy marriage. If that's what you want to do, go ahead, go do that, such and such. Now, for all the other people that are saying, oh, go out and get this woman and all this other stuff, the SYSBN dudes are mainly stating, take on a different cultural background, because the culture that you have grown up in, the culture that has been pushed down your throat, there's a lot of things that are dysfunctional about it. It may seem fun for some short period of time, but it's going to have a lot of negative repercussions over time. Choice is yours. I'll see my time.
All right. Lady Topaz, do you want that 158 for your closing statement?
Yeah, a wise debater on this panel earlier said never underestimate your opponent. So I'm going to take it.
Okay. You'll have 658. Go ahead. All right. 658 on the clock. Lady Topaz, you are up. Pull the trigger. Close the statements.
Okay, so one of the things that I think that was shown in this live stream is that I can, in fact, understand, appreciate, and incorporate all of the things that the people that hold SKC's viewpoint, everything that you are concerned about, everything that you want to make sure gets discussed. I can make sure that when I'm talking about staying in the community, that that does happen, that you're not going to be just drowned out. If I'm able to ever gain the right type of influence to be able to be heard myself, right? So I can add all of that in there. I also am for two-parent households. I do understand that that is the best model. That would be in an ideal world, but life happens, and I'm saying that life already has enough things that takes away one of the parents. We shouldn't be condoning or allowing anything that, in addition to just life things that would take away a parent, that wouldn't give us that ideal. It shouldn't be things that we're doing to ourselves. So in my opinion, yes, I do still hold those traditional values. I do believe that it would be ideal if it could be a, two-parent household with both Black parents. In the absence of being able to do that, all I'm saying is if you do have to date out, right? If you are only able to find your true match outside of the culture, it should not be because you feel like all of Black culture should be written off. It should be because that's who crossed your path, and that's who showed up and caught your heart first. That's what I think. Because if you do it that way, then that means that you're not doing it out of spite or bitterness or feeling defeated. You feel like it's not enough out there for you to go and at least try, give it a good shot. So I do agree with those same values. Also, the all of the things that SKC was mentioning that happened to us, that started us on this downward spiral, every other culture on this planet watched silently. And I saw somebody else type in the chat earlier that silence is being complicit in it. Yes, it is. So whatever culture it is that you're going to, they watched and let it happen, and still to this day benefit from it. They don't speak out in mass and say, hey, y'all need to stop doing that. That's not right. Let Black people live their life. They don't do that for you. So what makes you think that they're going to accept you as a fully Black person when you show up? Because you weren't mixed, or else we wouldn't be having this conversation. Second of all, leaving solves nothing. It doesn't stop all of the things that are still happening. And so let's say that the community burns to the ground. Who do you think is coming next? What do you think their next target is going to be? Because it's never going to be enough. That's why you have to fight back, because all that's going to happen at the end is, even if you do die, you're going to wish that you had fought back, because at least you'd be in a better predicament. You'd have at least a chance. If you give up, you don't even have a chance anymore. Now it's certain death. Another thing is, it is your choice. You can leave. If nothing that I say here has affected you and say, hey, you know what, I'm willing to stay, but on my own terms, which is what I'm actually promoting, that's cool. That is your choice. But you don't get to have a say so anymore, because you are not still here. You left. If you still want to have a say so, you need to still be involved. Does that mean that you can't be married to somebody outside of the Black culture? No. It just means you need to still be living a Black life. That person that you're married to needs to be coming over here and understanding and respecting the good parts of Black culture that we, our ancestors were able to live through. Not all of the bad stuff, but they need to understand why we still get up every day as a person. They need to understand what makes us us for real, not just what they were told in the media. And then finally, if you do come back, you have three things to do. You need to be quiet and catch up. You need to help with what it is that we're doing now that is considered to be positive, and then you can speak on the issues. So I'm not as hard, pressed as some of the other people that consider themselves to be Black first. They don't want you to ever come back if you leave. They don't want you to have anything to say once you leave. And I feel like, okay, well, there's a way to do everything. So what I'm saying is, I feel like this would be the best route for Black tranquility, for Black peace, Black success, and I think it would be worth it. And I'm done. You can have the rest of the time.
Hey, X, really quickly, because I think we both have like 2:44 left, and I'm not saying so far as to continue the debate. I just had a couple of questions for Topaz, because she brought up some things that I think are very interesting.
Okay, go ahead. I'll go ahead and let the time run out, and then we'll go to the polls.
What would be, to your thoughts, Topaz? What would be lost if guys just walked away? What would be lost?
Everything.
Okay.
So I do believe that Black men are very important to the culture. I believe that they're important to the planet. So therefore, pretty much everything would be lost.
Sure. I'm asking specifically, like, what would be lost?
What do you mean specifically? I mean, I'm serious when I say everything, like, a way of life, your
Like,
existence
okay,
essentially, because
a
if
way of
all of the
life,
black
like
men,
a way of life, like what? Give me an example.
okay, so, I do believe that black men as a whole do protect us, right? I mean, I have seen, I know what they post on the internet all the time, but I've seen black men actually step in and protect black women in times where they deserved it and in times where they didn't. So, there was, I've never seen that like we are just out here on our own. I've seen
So,
sometimes that they sit back and say, you know what, all right, let her
so
go
just,
ahead and
just so
bump her
just for
head
time,
real quick, but I don't
just
think
for
that they just
time's
left
sake,
off completely.
you're saying that what would be lost is a protector.
Yes, a protector. Also, now in
Okay,
terms of the provider, right?
how does that benefit black men?
Well, because then you still have a place where people actually respect you. As much as you think black women don't respect you, if they really sit down and they're honest with themselves, they have no choice but to. Now, I have seen black women what happens to them after a breakup, how they feel after a breakup. They can get on here and they can, lie and they can perpetrate all they want to, but I've seen that black women do not like it when black men are not happy with them.
Do you get that so far in this 2 minutes and 44 seconds so far, that the only thing that you named that
Respect.
of significance that you say would be a loss is for black men to be protecting black women?
That's the first thing. I mean, like that's just the one that came to mind right then. That's not the only thing. I literally said everything because anything that you can imagine, it will be lost if black men aren't here.
But I think that that's very telling,
Okay.
that the most significant thing that came to your mind as of right now out of the everything is black women don't get a protector.
Okay. You also the whole time that we were back and forth during the debate, I was talking about how black men could be
How about
providers
this
too.
in the last 10 seconds? And it just shows you where black women's mindset is. How about the loss of an intact family?
Yeah, that was the whole point of the whole debate. Weren't we talking about that the whole time earlier?
All right. That's going to conclude our debate. Good folks, good stuff. So now we go to the polls. If you
Oh, Lord.
believe that Lady Topaz won the debate, put a T in the chat. If you believe Brother Supreme won the debate, put an S in the chat. Put a T in the chat for Lady Topaz. Put an S in the chat for Brother Supreme.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, man. I would say, I'm gonna encourage people to put a T in the chat, because I want Topaz to feel better about the future, because it's like, good grief, man, the game is already over. But I mean, if people want to hang on to it, I mean, they can. But
Well, you know what?
I
Thank you,
mean,
SKC. That is very nice of you,
Come on.
I mean,
So I do
I,
appreciate that.
I really don't get it. It's like, it's one of those things of when you say, what's going to be lost, and you know, black life. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about? It's just life.
See, and the fact that you don't even know and understand is that means you are so gone. You've left a long time ago. You left heart, mind, body, and soul. And I get that, which is why I don't think that you will ever understand what I'm trying to say. For you, it's a non-starter, it's a non-issue. So I would not try to convince you in real life. In real life, I would just let you have it because, what's the point? You are gone already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For the most part, the individuals that you're saying, that need to stay, they are already gone. You notice that if you go to like a lot of magazines and different things, particularly black female magazines, they always make note that they are the more race loyal when it comes to black love and so forth, because they have statistics that already show that. I think it was like the last check was like way back in 2010 that 4 to 5 times the amount of black men to black women marry out. So it's not a thing of if
But they're not
or
all gone. And the ones that are here, right, can pick women that are like minded, and then they can show the rest of the community what they're supposed to be doing. And maybe if we get this thing turned around, right, then that can stop. I'm not, look, SKC, I am not a person that just rolls over, okay? I have to fight. I have to do it, okay?
She said get it turned around. It's
Yes,
like
I believe it's possible. I'm not willing to say that it's not possible. All right. So we just have like different ideology. I mean, I'm not, upset about it. It's just, it is what it is.
It's looking like, well, I'm going to give y'all some time to think about it. Like I said, put a T in the chat if you believe Lady Topaz won the debate. Put an S in the chat if you believe Brother Supreme won the debate. And for you slow typers and slow readers and thinkers, I'll give you some time.
One of the things that I wonder about is this when it comes to black women as a whole, when it comes to this conversation. Where was all the energy to preserve the black family during the 80s, 90s, early 2000s?
Well, SKC, personally, I wasn't born yet, but from the stories back then, they were struggling with crack and a bunch of other stuff. So I don't know. The point is, I've had this conversation with my elders. I got called disrespectful, but I really did bring that point up. So when I talk to y'all about it, I'm not just only saying it to us in our generation. I don't know how old you are, SKC. You might be younger than me, but yeah, I've had that conversation with the elders. I've had that conversation with pretty much anybody that brings this topic up.
It's just weird to me, man, because it's like think of all of the forms of entertainment that that black women have had at their disposal and have been able to utilize, and the majority of it does not center around having a strong black family.
Yes, I know. I don't like that either.
So it's like, hey, this is what the majority want. I mean,
yeah, well, the majority, the majority of sheep.
It's not like I'm making this up.
No, I hear you, SKC, but you don't give in to the sheep. The majority of the masses are sheep. They'll do whatever is profitable at the time or whatever they think will help them survive. Right now, nobody is sticking it to them. And so I'm out here taking all kind of arrows, and I don't care. The point is that this is not going to be sustainable, and they are going to hear it. If they've heard my voice, they have at least been told. So they can't say they didn't know.
Yeah,
and then guess what? And you may be right, SKC. It may be over with. I may be running a fool's errand right now. Okay, but at least I personally will feel better myself knowing that I at least tried. I'm not a person that would just sit there and watch something happen.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but the thing that all I'm saying is this, and I don't know your age or whatnot, and I'm not saying let me just change direction on that.
I didn't mind telling my age. I was told to stop telling my age. So
all I'm saying is I think that at this point, people should be focusing on trying to find a viable mate for themselves wherever they can get it. Get it in where it works best for you and your circumstances. And don't be caught into all of this race stuff because for the
I'm not
most
against
part,
that. All I'm saying is the
be,
mindset. Don't
be,
leave thinking that any other race is better than blacks just because. Like leave because you have a checkbox that you
I'm
want to
not going
date
into
and this
all of,
person meets it.
I'm not going into to all of that stuff. That's not my argument at all. My argument is that at this point, is particularly, I'm just speaking from the black male perspective. The community doesn't want you.
Yes, I know.
The
I get told
community
that a lot.
doesn't respect you. The community has already stated politically, we don't need you.
Yeah, I
Well,
know. I hear them, but I disagree. And so, I mean, what they gonna
it was close, but Brother Supreme
do?
seems to have gotten it. He has edged you out. It
Yeah, it sounds
it
about
was
right.
it was close. Though. It was close. It was close.
I knew that when I
It
chose it, but I had to do it
it
anyway.
was
I
close.
had
No,
to.
and that's fine. I think you did a good job. I think that you have a better argument against the pink pill women. And I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
just
well
saying
I've
that
already had that. I
and
did
I'm
that
not
already.
saying that just because, I'm like, oh, I'm on the opposite spectrum of it. I actually believe that they should be able to choose whoever they want to choose.
My
I,
argument
I,
with them
I
was
to
against their mindset for why they're choosing
well,
other
to be
men.
honest with you, Topaz, my thought on that is this. Um, I would rather see black women in a functional relationship than to be how they are on the normal.
Yeah, well, I tell them the same thing is that if you're going over there with the idea of anything other than black is better, then they're going to do the same exact thing to you because that's what, like you're still in that mind state and they're not going to respect you either. It needs to be because you met this individual. Like it shouldn't, why is it even, why does it even matter that whatever black men have done or doing or whatever it is that you don't like, you meet this person, you get to know them, they just happen to be of a different race, and then you be with them and you're not every 5 seconds, talking, negatively about black people, which by the way, SKC, I will say, right, you aren't who I had in mind when I brought that topic up.
Oh, I understand that. I mean, I have some harsh criticisms for the community, as it were. But I mean, I say it out of I say it out of a mindset of understanding that the traditions that I saw within my own family, from my grandparents to my parents, that age is done. It's not coming back, and I know it too much because I lived it.
I don't hold on a second. I don't know what you look like on time, Lady Topaz.
I got some time. I
All
knew
right.
this was going. I knew that question was going to happen.
If you want to, because this is the Lady Topaz challenge, if you want to come up here and challenge, you know what to do. You have to hit me up in my email. By now, all of you should know what my damn email is. You've been watching me long enough, folks. But I'll put it on the board anyway. It's Prophet of Thought at yahoo.com. That's Prophet of Thought, no caps, one word, at yahoo.com. While we wait for other opponents, if y'all have questions for my debaters, y'all know how we do this. Y'all know how we do this now. You want to ask a question, those questions need to be cash apped or super chatted, or I will not read them. Y'all know how we do it. So while we waiting for subsequent challengers, we will entertain questions. If you want to ask the debaters questions, super chat them or cash app them, and I will put them on the board, and my debaters will answer them. Likewise, if you want to come up here for the challenge, you must write me in my email, and I will send you the link. I'm not putting it in the chat, you Negroes, cause you know.
And thanks for coming up, SKC.
Oh no, it's no big deal at all. Like I had to give you Normally, guys know I go a little bit more ham, but I give respect to you because you were the 4-quarter talk boy, so I have to give some deference. But
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
whatever the reason is. Thanks, SKC.
yeah, man. I don't want a third ward come find me in H Town here.
Oh yeah, because you are the.
Yeah, well, Lady Topaz is part of a team now, so she got a team. She got a team behind her. But we got a question for you, Lady Topaz, brother
Yeah,
J.I.
I saw it.
He says,
Well,
"Do you agree with financial abortion for men?"
Well, you know what? I would need to know a little bit more about it. I saw the petition. I didn't even click on it because here's my thing. My overall goal is I want more Black children born into more functional situations. Now, if he has a point laid out about what he thinks that is going to do in order to get us there, I'm willing to listen to it. But I don't think that that's going to go the way y'all want it to. I think that if men get to have financial abortion, that will put more of our Black children as wards of the state. And that would be more of us getting technically, kind of back into like slavery light. Okay. So I don't want that to happen. I also don't want women out here just getting pregnant randomly all over the place either. So, I would have to talk to him a little bit more about what he thinks the end goal of that would be, because I need to know if that's something that's going to stop all of that from happening.
All right. Oh, we got a $5 super chat from Brother Roscoe. Appreciate that, Brother Roscoe. He says, "Salute T.P.O.T. Question for Miss T. If Black women respect Black men, why do they seek spineless, financially unstable Black men to procreate with instead of stable Black men?"
Well, I mean, you know what I've noticed, they don't say it, but the attitude that I see in the comments that they do see, the reason I believe they do that is because they already know that they aren't going to get very far with the stable Black men. They know all of their little goofiness and the tricks and the leading them astray wouldn't work.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, it's either that or nothing.
All right. I hope that answered your question, brother.
Well, and I do feel like that's a form of respect. They don't even come over there with that type of craziness. So.
Yeah, well, Brother J.I. wants to come up here now.
Okay, well, yeah.
J.I. is my man, so I got to send him the link. I got to send him the link. That's my man.
Okay, that's fine.
Got to send him the link.
So J.I. he stated that he's on the financial abortion thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually have an argument that I formulated not too long ago. That is pro-abortion.
See, I don't want a whole bunch of abortions either, but I also don't want women giving birth to kids that they're gonna mistreat. So I mean, I don't have a set stance yet. I'm still reviewing the information in terms of abortion of any kind.
I mean, to exacerbate things a bit further and to just let the community go ahead and just really burn down, I really think they should subsidize abortion to where the more you get, the more welfare you get.
The more abortions you get?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. SKC. So what you were thinking is that women will just be getting, knocked up all of the time. That would ensue chaos. That is, what SKC no.
Hold
no.
on.
Let me open it.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second before anybody says anything. Shout out to my brothers, Brother Nick Taylor and Brother Maurice Mohammed. Brother Muhammad, I gotta hit you up, man. You and I gotta link up. My brother, it's been a while. It's good to see you up in here. And another shout out to my brother Nick Taylor as well. Go ahead, Brother J.I. You got it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. Appreciate you for having me, T.P.O.T, as always. I'm not familiar with the lady, but I always have to ask all the women that come this question. So you said you were against it, correct? Am I correct?
I said that the jury's still out. I haven't formulated an opinion because I would need to know more about what you think the end goal of that is going to be.
Well, my end goal is very simple. It's for equality under the law between men and women. That's all I'm for. It to be
Well, I
equal.
think the administration has already stated that they don't want equality; they want equity.
No, and that's the problem. So Topaz, my stance is just for straight equality under the law, meaning if you can do it, if a woman can do it under the law, then a man should be able to do it under the law. We know that women have the right to abortion. We know they can have abortion for whatever reason. They don't need a reason. It doesn't have to be health related. They can just have one to have one. Different states have different, lengths at which they can get it, which is fine. But men don't have any right. And let's be real, what an abortion is, no matter how you try to dress it up, it's getting rid of something you don't want. It's getting rid of responsibility that otherwise you would have had. Men don't get that. But men get all of the responsibilities read as punishments when the woman makes a decision for both of their lives. That's unfair. That's fundamentally unfair, just by the definition of the word. Do you agree with that, Topaz?
Well, I don't know, because see, here's what I'm thinking about right now is the fact that if she has the baby and you didn't want the child, right, you are on the hook for child support initially, but if she gets married and the guy adopts the child, you are off the hook if you want to be.
No. You talking about what ifs and maybes.
Right, because that is one thing. Okay, so
trip.
here's my issue, J.I., is that I don't see it as equal, and here's why. Is because in your instance, the baby is still here, and now if you're not raising it and the mom says, oh, I thought I was getting a check, and then she gives it up, now the government has control over a big, according to y'all, a big portion. So in your instance, when you say financial abortions, you're not trying to get rid of the other abortion either, right? So you just want people to be able to just kill and throw away. I just feel like that's chaos. That's a whole lot of chaos.
Listen. We can feel how we want to feel. All I'm talking about is equality.
Thinking it through
Hold
about
on.
what I know about human behavior, I see that ending in a lot of chaos.
Let's make it a debate.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
So I can get it out. Yeah.
This is the challenge night. So if you want to challenge,
I challenge you.
You want to challenge her?
But see, listen. Okay, so hold on. Let me pull up it. Can you put it in the chat so I can pull up this petition so I can at least see what it is that I'm talking about here?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Because otherwise, I'm just, I'm going by one sentence, and then what if he has all of this kind of stuff in the petition, and then it's like, what's the point?
I do want you to read the petition, but I mean, it's should men be able to financially abort their responsibility? That's all it is. That's what it is. You definitely, I want you to read the petition, but that's what it is. We don't have to waste time on it. Should men be able to financially abort?
So are we going to debate whether or not men have the right to financially abort?
Yes.
All right, I guess so. Since all right.
So Brother J.I. says yes, of course. That means Lady Topaz will be the negative again. So that means you will be first. So I explained the rules earlier, so I'm not explaining them to you Negroes again. 5 minutes on the clock. Hold up, let me get it up here. Right here. All right. Switch better. All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Lady Topaz, you are up. Pull the trigger. Opening statements.
Okay, so from what I understand about financial abortion, this would be a man's ability to make a decision to say, there is a child coming, I no longer want to have any financial responsibility for this child. So I have a few questions. One, does that mean that the man is still going to be having visitation? Is it still available? Obviously, if he doesn't want the child, he might not, take take up on that offer. He may not want to have any visitation with the child. So is he still going to be formulating a relationship, or is he just basically is this a financial thing just to protect his assets, but he still wants to build a bond with the child? He still wants to be involved in the child's life. A second question would be, how soon after the notification of pregnancy does he need to be able to make this decision? Is the child already here, or does the woman still have a chance to have a physical abortion, I guess, if she wanted one? I do have to say that I'm against all of this. I would advocate, in my belief, is that you pick who you want to have a child with initially. And so therefore you do not create a child unless this is somebody that you want to have a child with. I think that's a better option. And I think that given either one of these, options, that is encouraging irresponsibility. It's a safety net, a parachute for people who are deciding that they can just go out and do whatever. So to me, I think equality would be where we are rolling back the clock to the time before a woman of, ill repute does not even have access to your sperm. How does she even get it to have a child? I do not advocate for sexual, irresponsibility, but I do believe that once there is a child formulated and there was nothing that prevented you from being able to make a better choice, such as like force or coercion or, power dynamics, things of that nature, that at that moment, you also have another option available to work with this person, no matter how formidable they may be, because that is part of the consequence of just kind of sleeping with whoever. I do advocate for adults using reason. What do we think is going to happen if the man gets to walk away, right? If women are as bad as you say they are, they might just hand the child over to the government. And then what does that do? That creates that 1984 movie that we all don't want to actually happen, things that we're against. Those of us who make, good decisions with our reasoning skills. That's going to be the first step along the lines to us losing power as individuals. It may seem empowering initially to say, I don't want to have to pay money to raise this child. But if she still has the child, that is still going to be your blood walking around on this planet. That is still going to be somebody that may come look you up. Because even in cases where children were adopted, they still want to know who is the other half of their genetic code. They don't just give up. That doesn't just go away because the adults couldn't get it together. Okay, I do believe that there are better options out there. I believe that this is going to create more of a need for financial abortion and also other types of abortion. I believe that it's going to give people a false sense of security, and I think that pushes us backwards. We aren't making adults have positive logical skills. We're letting adults just do whatever they want to do and say in science, or either the government is going to come save me. That's how we got into this problem in the first place. That's how we have so many people that you don't want to have children with, and that are out here for you to even have the potential to mate with. So in my opinion, this idea about financial abortion, it does not bring equality. It doesn't line up with the other option. If women get to get rid of a child that you may or may not even know exists, you're speaking for the hearts of the men that actually wanted their children and didn't have a chance to do that. They would not even utilize financial abortion. You're helping a totally different subset of men. You're not addressing the problem that you're saying that you're addressing with this petition. So with that being said, I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's going to get you the answer that you want. I don't find it to be equal. And I'll concede the other 30 seconds.
All right,
I'll take
brother.
30 seconds.
You'll
I'll
take
it.
All right.
Just whatever she concedes, just give it to me. Off top.
Oh, wow.
We can do that.
All right.
We can do that. Let me stop this here.
Well, me too, I guess. If he concedes, just give it to me.
Okay, so that'll be 5:30 for you. All right. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, man. I'm messing up back here, y'all. It's a lot going on back here in the control room. It's a lot going on back here.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And that backdrop that you put up always cracks me up.
Which one? Oh, the one with
the one that's playing right now.
Oh, the one with the little African kids. All right.
All right.
5:30 on the clock.
That's
Brother,
happiness, J.I., from looking at babies. Now go
brother,
ahead.
brother J.I., you are up,
All right.
sir. Pull the
So
trigger.
I did my best to. I wrote down some of her points. First off, she keeps saying this is not going to get me the outcome that I want. That's false, because the outcome that I want is equality under the law. See, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but what the law is in place for is to make sure that everybody in a society is treated equally by the same rules. What we have now is the law being dangerously slanted towards women, and men have no choice at all. See, the pendulum swung too far the other way. So now it used to be women didn't have a choice. Now men don't have a choice. And it needs to be where both have a choice. Okay. It overcorrected. And that's what happened with Roe v. Wade. Things overcorrected and it put all the power in the women's hands. But that's not equal. It needs to be down the middle. That's what the law is for. So she keeps trying to make these morality arguments. I don't care. Let me just put it out there. I do not care. Everybody's moral compass is different. What one person thinks is right, even under the branch of Christianity, everybody interprets it differently. That's why there's different denominations. Okay, there's different churches that you can go to. So morality is not my concern. Everybody has their own opinion of it, and that even changes as they go through life. So we cannot use this quote unquote morality as any type of authority in this argument. What I'm stating is a simple fact. If two people have sex consensually and the woman gets pregnant, only one person of that party has a choice thereafter, even though the choice made affects both parties. This is unfair by the definition. Okay. If a woman has those types of powers, a man deserves them as well. Now, I just say financial abortion because I don't believe in infringing upon the woman's rights with her body. She made the will the man have visitation argument. No, the way I would see it, if the man would just be treated like a sperm donor. So he would have no rights, period. It would be as if the woman got a sperm donor. She said, how soon after notification of pregnancy can he financially abort? Now, bear in mind, I'm going through these questions, but bear in mind, these are what I would call operational questions of how this would look. We have to first agree that men deserve to have it. And then we can debate about what it should look like. But we have to first agree that they should have it. But I'm going to answer it from how I would like to see it implemented. So how soon after? I would say 5 months. A man has 5 months from his being notified. Now, we know that there are plenty of men that get notified after a child is already born. Sometimes when that child has had grown up for a couple years. So from whenever a man is made known, he should have 5 months. And if he does not respond, his default position should be that he financially aborted. So there's no mix up or playing in the courts or, oh, we sent you to the wrong address. And no, the default should be financial abortion. I actually think that the man should have to opt into parenthood. Okay. And the only way to do that, because I believe men should have financial abortion even in a marriage. So, but I'm just going to say, just for sake of argument, 5 months. From being notified, the man has 5 months, because women can have abortions up to 5 months, and in some places longer. So she said we need to pick who we have children with initially. See, they try to slant all the responsibility to the man, even though the woman has 100% control of whether or not a life comes to be. A man doesn't have any of those controls. A woman does. She controls when a child is born. A woman can force a man to be a father, but a man cannot force a woman to be a mother. You can't do it, even if they've been married. Married women can get abortions without the consent of their husband because it's their body. And it happens all the time. You can go on the internet, find countless stories. Okay, so this whole choose someone, women get pregnant by guys that they just met, don't even know his real name. That's just irresponsible. But it's their choice to be that, and that's fine. But we don't need to put that on men. This whole men need to protect themselves argument, as if women don't steal sperm, as if condoms don't break, these things don't happen. They're real stories, and nobody cares about the plight of men. This is what disgusts me so much. She said it would inspire irresponsibility. Let's say that there was a man that went around and just wanted to have sex infinitely and use financial abortion 100 times. I believe he should. That's his right. But what you're leaving out of that equation is that means that there's 100 women on the other side that would have to also choose to be irresponsible and have a child with a father that is ill-suited for fatherhood. And that's what you're taking away. They want to take away the woman's choice and her responsibility, when ultimately the bulk of it is on her because it's in her body. So women get to be as irresponsible as they want to be, and they try to paint men as the villains for it. Now, I'm not having it. I don't care about these moral arguments. I don't care about what happens to these kids. She tried to paint a picture like the government would have all these this army of abandoned children to raise up. No, I don't care about any of that. All that is science fiction, and it's not going to happen. All right. The reality of what would happen is it would make women far more responsible when they knew that the burden would solely be on them. They would stop having kids when they know that they can't exploit men for it. All right.
All right. That's going to put us into the rebuttal round. The rebuttal rounds will be 4 minutes per. So we left off with Brother J.I. Lady Topaz, 4 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger. This is the rebuttal round.
Okay. Okay, so you mentioned science fiction. Well, actually, what I'm talking about would that's just only one option of what would happen. But the thing that's the closest to science fiction would be all of a sudden, if men didn't have to pay any money, that women would just, all of a sudden click, wise up, and now all of a sudden start choosing men that have more money and assets and resources. I mean, there's a subset of women already doing that. They get called gold diggers, but they don't care because they're getting a check every month and the man isn't there anyway. And so in terms of a moral argument, right? So you brought up rights to her body. Well, here's the thing. In the past, since we're talking about that, right? We're talking about abortion rights. In the past, a married woman used to have to ask her husband's permission before she could get any abortions. Okay. And so a lot of married men, if they couldn't afford yet a fourth and fifth child, they did go ahead and give permission. All of these things were put in place to manage the children for married couples. This was never meant to be used for single people. So this usually, you want to take out the morality, but it was, in fact, all of this was even created because of morality. What I think that you're doing, you're literally showing that you don't care about morality, but you don't understand it either. Because for you to say that you want financial abortion to be a thing, you're not even targeting the same men. You're using the argument of men who are sad and wanted to have their child. You're using their argument for men who never even wanted to have their child. And when you're talking about rights to her body, I said both people should be choosing who they have children with. I'm not disagreeing with you that women need to choose men that are more financially stable, but they also need to choose more men that are emotionally stable, that are mentally stable to have more children with. I got a lot of other things that I think that we need to do about our choices and who we get pregnant or allow to impregnate us. So to be honest with you, I think that I understand your frustration, but I don't think it's going to get you the equality that you seek, because it's not even targeting the same people. The argument is all over the place from what I can hear. So both people are supposed to be choosing who they have children with. And it's not going to just be women will start then saying, oh, I need to get men who are rich. If it was that easy to do that, then you'd have more. All rich men would have like a bunch of kids and poor men wouldn't. So what exactly are you saying? You're going to get a lot of men who are upset now at women who, won't even talk to them, won't date them, won't marry them, won't sleep with them if they don't have 6 and 7 figures. And that's a whole nother argument that's happening as we speak. Is it not? So it doesn't seem like this is grounded in real current reality of what's going on between both genders, how men and women are interacting with each other. This sounds like you thought of something that sounded good one day and decided to put it in a petition and thought that men were going to just champion behind you. But when they sit down and they listen to what you're saying, they aren't going to be, a lot of them aren't going to be on the bandwagon with this when they find out what it really means. And if you don't care about morality, then why use a petition? Why not just, I don't know, like sneak a plan B into a smoothie the next day? Why do you even need a petition to do any of this kind of stuff? So you're still acting according to the law. Why not just break the law then? You don't care about morality. So you want to pick and choose morality. This is getting further and further away from getting you equality to women who want to have abortions. And then if you got a woman that is willing to go out and get an abortion like that, you're also not targeting the right group of women. A woman who's cool with going to get an abortion, that's not who you're going to target with this. You're going to be targeting the women who would have wanted to have their kid, who would have found a way by any means if the dude just didn't pay for it. And also, child support and visitation are separate issues. So if the guy doesn't have money, but he's still involved in a child's life, she can't just take away his rights to parenting.
All right.
All right. 4 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., pull the trigger. This is the rebuttal.
All right, let me walk this back. She said, "Why use a petition if I don't care about morality?" She confuses morality with legality. Let me say it again. She's confusing morality with legality. Okay, legality equals what's lawful and what's unlawful. Morality equals what a person believes to be right or wrong. These are not the same thing. Okay, it's not the same thing at all. So when I say I don't care about the morality of it, I don't care if somebody feels that it's bad or that you shouldn't walk away. I don't care about that. Legality determines what someone can or cannot do. She brought up the past about women having to get permission for their husbands. We don't live in a day and age where women have to get permission anymore. She's talking about the days of old. Okay, those days are gone. Women can do what they want. They're very clear that it's their body, their choice. And I actually agree with that part. But the part that they leave out is men do not have a choice. And that's the part that I disagree with. Okay. Whenever a woman says my body, my choice, what's silently being said, okay, is that men do not deserve a choice. And that is fundamentally wrong. If we look at the law, when women have these rights legally, that's why they had to fight for Roe v. Wade, because they used to not have them. Okay, which is why my issue is with the legality of it, and why I made a petition, because everything else gets attention. If an issue gets enough attention, then it starts building momentum, and people start getting behind it, and then eventually, sometimes it takes a very long time, it leads to change. That's what happened with Roe v. Wade. A bunch of women were upset that they didn't have the rights over their bodies. They complained about it. All right, and then eventually enough traction was put behind it to where they were able to win in court and gain those rights. It takes a long time, but that's how the legal system works. So you're talking about, why don't I just sneak plan Bs and stuff? That's nonsense. That's ridiculousness. All right. I'm talking about men having rights to legally do what women already have the right to legally do. And it would make things equal. Okay. Then you keep talking about this high value, this men making money. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if a man makes $1 million or if a man makes $10. That has nothing to do with the rights that he should have under the law. A man that's rich or poor should have the same rights under the law, just like a woman who's rich. Rich women have abortions and poor women have abortions. They may have them for different reasons, but I don't care. They have the right to do it. So that was just a convoluted argument. I don't even know what bearing that had on anything, because I'm not speaking to women making better choices. Let me be clear. I do not care about these choices, these bad choices that women are making. I care that they have the right to make them. Okay. I'm not trying to make women be better. I believe that if men were to get financial abortion, that the consequence of that would be women making better decisions, because all decisions are just based upon the consequences. So if a woman knows that she has nothing to gain financially from the man or from the state, yeah, she's going to be wiser with her body. But I'm not trying to do this to force them to be better. I want equality under the law. That's the only part she keeps leaving out. She keeps leaving that out, talking about things I'm not talking about and I don't care about, quite frankly. I want equality under the law. Men deserve rights over when they choose to become a father, period. The best way that I see this to be implemented is to give them financial rights, because I don't want them to be able to force, like you said, when a husband had to get permission from, when a wife had to get permission from her husband to get an abortion. I don't want women to be subjugated to men. I want true equality. I believe that if we had true equality under the law, it would fix the majority of these issues. Plain and simple. I think we can rapid fire. This will be good.
All right. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and go into rapid fire. You know, we're gonna take some time considerations because it's somewhat late. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. But the rapid fire will be clocked. We're gonna clock it at 12 minutes. All right.
All right.
So, yeah, we'll clock it at 12. And
so let me ask you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, T.P.O.T.
Go ahead. I'm just saying that. Go ahead. We left off with you, so we're gonna start off with Lady Topaz. Go ahead, Lady Topaz. This is rapid fire. Pull the trigger.
Okay, so two questions. One, you keep saying equality, so you want to be equal to women. At this point, do you feel like
Under the
women are
law.
superior, or
Under
under
the
the law,
law.
do you feel like women are being held
Yes.
superior? Okay,
Yes.
so second of all, equality. If you're really talking about equality because women get to leave a situation and decide what happens in terms of a baby, you're basing your argument on the fact that women get to kill babies that were created. So the equality of that would be the man being allowed to shoot the baby, not for him to let the baby be born and then not pay for it. You live in a society where the government does not want to pay. The whole reason why abortion is even legal had nothing to do with them caring about women or their bodies or any of that. It had to do with them not wanting to pay for the baby that is born. That's why they bring you in a child support court. Otherwise, they could have told the woman, oh, well, this is your problem. They told the woman, find the dad, bring him in here, and we're going to make him pay because we don't want to have to pay for this child. So you're not actually describing equality. What you're describing is some other
Let me
thing
explain to
that
you how
doesn't
it is
make things
equality.
equal, because now what you
Let
are
me
bringing into the
explain to you
world
how it
is
is
a child
equality,
that
though.
was not cared for, that was not taken care
No,
of,
let me
and now
explain to you
this
how it's
child is
equality.
very angry and is going to come find you, because
Let
I
me
work with children
explain.
and
Let
I
me
know that
explain to
that's what
you.
they do when they turn 18.
All right, let me explain to you how this is equality. What I told you and what I explained
You can
earlier,
say
what
you're
abortion
explaining
is.
it, but you're not. You
Let
have
me
said this over and over and
listen
over
to my
again. You have
side
said the
so
same
that you
thing
can rebut
through
it.
both rounds. You
Listen,
said that it's equality
listen to
under the
my
law,
side real
and that's
quick.
not what it is. That's not what's happening.
Listen to what I'm
In
about to
one
say, and
instance,
then
there will
respond
be
to
a
me.
baby that is
I'm
here, and in
done.
the other instance, there is not. So
Listen,
therefore, I
listen to
believe
what I'm
that
about to
equality
say.
would be if the woman is not allowed to kill children.
Listen
She
to
should
what I'm
not be
about
able
to
to do
say.
that either. How about that?
Listen to what I'm about to say. All right.
Okay.
So
Say
what
something
I
different,
said.
though.
Oh my God.
You
All right.
finished?
So the abortion part is what I said earlier. What it is you getting rid of responsibility that you do not want. I've already made it clear it's going to look differently for men than it does for women, but the outcome is the same. To make it so that the man does not have dominion over a woman's body, the best way to do it is to make it so that he has financial abortion. And women
But
already
if
have the
you
right
are
to seek
telling
out
men
donors.
that they don't
Hold
have the
on.
responsibility
Hold
anymore, you are
on
putting
a
that
second.
responsibility on someone
Hold
else.
on
And
a
if the other
second.
person does not want to do that, they are not going to
Listen,
vote for this
hold on a
petition.
second. Let me
I'm
finish
just
what I'm
telling you.
saying. Let me finish what I'm saying, because you're talking about something else. Now,
Okay.
if a woman or women already have the right to go and get sperm donors. So they already have the right to choose to become parents by themselves, be a sperm donor. So if a man does not want to partake in responsibility with her, it should just be viewed as, okay, she got a sperm donor. Women already have that right to do that. And that's her right to do
But
that.
you're
She
mentioning
wants to
should.
do
That's not
that.
the world we live in
Hold
right
on.
now. That's a should.
Hold on. You're talking about the world
Okay,
that we
well,
live in.
I'm
The
just
world
saying,
that we
because
in can
you were
change
making all of these
tomorrow.
negative
Listen,
comments, these
the world
insults
that we
towards
live
me and
in
my
can change
intelligence, like
tomorrow.
I haven't thought
The
about
world
this
can
very
change
subject,
tomorrow.
abortion, that being that, like, you just the person that knows the most about abortion in the world. And all I'm saying is you're not the only
What are you
person that
talking
has thought
about?
about this. So had you curbed all of the personal insults in the other rounds, I would not be talking over you this way. What I am saying to you
What
is
personal? Hold
you
on.
may
What
not
personal
always
insult?
be
Hold
the
on. What
smartest
personal
person in the room.
insults?
What I am
What
saying to you
what
is
personal insults?
equality. In one instance, there is a
Wait. What
baby, and in the
personal
other instance, there
insults?
is a dead infant. That
Hold
is
on.
not
What
equality.
personal insults did
So
I
say
make?
something different.
Hold on. What personal insults did I make?
Well, you said a whole bunch of stuff about
No,
like
no, no. Tell me a personal
convolution,
insult.
and I don't remember because I wasn't sitting there getting all
I didn't
worried
make
about
any
it. But I'm
personal
saying is, if
insults.
you wanted me to not, you told me to take out the emotion. You told me that to take out the morality. So now I'm asking
No, no,
you
no. Is
a
that a
real
personal
question.
insult? If I
Without
said
the morality,
if I
if we're
said I'm
not,
not
because
looking
see,
at
the
it
emotions and the
morally,
morality
is
kept
that a
me
personal insult?
from being able to go to this height. So what I'm saying to you is, if
Wait
you
a
wanted
minute.
all of that out of the argument, then the argument stands.
No,
In
no,
one
no, no,
instance,
no.
there is a
Where's
baby,
the
and in the
personal
other
insult?
instance, there is one that is dead. So
Hold on.
that
No,
is not
we need to
equality.
deal with reality. Where's the personal
We are
insult?
dealing with reality. In the
What is the
real
personal
world, if the
insult?
guy has a
No, no,
financial
no, no,
abortion,
no.
but she still
What
has
is
the
the
child,
personal
there are
insult?
going to be a lot of unwanted children out here not being fed, not being
No,
taken
no, no,
care of,
no, no.
that are going to
That
grow
already
up
happens
very
now.
bitter.
What was the
And have you
personal
ever lived in a
insult?
society where all the adults are very
That's what's
bitter
happening
and
now.
angry at their
What
parents?
was the personal insult?
I don't remember because I moved
Just
on to the
admit that I did
discussion.
not say one. Just
Yeah,
admit,
you
just tell the
did.
truth.
Okay, you know what? I'll rewind this. I'll play the replay, and then I'll put the timestamps in the comments later. Okay. So
There
let's
was no
move on with
personal
the
insult
argument. It
because I
doesn't
never
matter.
personally insult because I stick to the
Oh God.
point.
Oh,
And the
is
point
that on your
is,
petition? Is it on your petition? I know you
See,
was doing a whole
what you're
lot of
doing
huffing
is
and puffing
speaking to things that I'm not
when I was speaking. I
saying
know that.
because you
So,
can't
I mean,
speak
what difference does it
to
make? I'll put them in the
the point
comments
that I'm
after the
making.
replay. Now, let's get back to the discussion. In one instance, there
But
is a
you're not
baby, and in
saying
the other
anything.
one, there is a child, right, that is dead.
And what did I
The
just
one that
say?
grows up
That's on the
bitter and
woman. No,
angry at
no. The
society.
woman
Have you
chose.
ever
The
watched the
woman
making
chose
of a
that.
serial killer? You want more of that?
Listen, the woman chose that. Did I not just say women
No,
right
both
now can
people
go get
chose that.
sperm
The man
donors?
and the woman
No,
chose that.
no.
Yes,
No,
they did.
they did
Two
not.
people went into the room, and I don't
No,
agree
they
with
did
abortion
not.
being birth control either. So that's
No,
not
they
part of
did
this
not.
discussion. You asked me, should men have financial abortion? My
Listen,
answer to that is no, because neither should she be able to go and just kill a child because she wanted to sleep with somebody.
let me
Both
walk
adults
this.
are not being responsible.
Let me
Both
walk this
adults
down for you.
are not being practical.
Let me walk this down for you. So here's the simplicity of it. All right. Both people chose to have sex. Okay.
Yes, they did.
Whether they use protection and then failed or whatever, I don't care because the outcome is the same. If a woman gets pregnant, she has another recourse. She can have an abortion if she does not want it. The man has no recourse, no matter if she was using
So
birth
she
control
shouldn't
and it
have
failed,
recourse.
no matter if she knew the man forever, no matter if she just met the man,
You're
no
right.
matter
Minus
what.
all of that, she shouldn't be able to do it either.
No. She has the right, and I believe that she deserves
Okay, so roll back
that
Roe v.
right.
Wade.
Men deserve the same right as well. I'm not trying to roll back
It's not
Roe
the
v.
same
Wade.
right.
That's
Stop
not
saying
my
it's the
argument.
same. It's not
That's
equal. It's not
somebody
the
else's
same.
argument. I don't want
That's
Roe
not
v.
the
Wade to
same.
be rolled back. That's
So
somebody
just
else's
say that you
argument.
want to ride in on the backs of the men who actually wanted their kids. You want to use their
I'm not
argument
riding
to
in
get
on
something
anybody's
so that
back.
men can go out here,
I'm not
dump
riding
sperm
in
and
on
whatever.
anybody's back.
Basically, nobody has to buy a condom because if he get her pregnant, he just ain't got to pay for
I'm
nothing. He
not
can say,
riding
oh,
on
well, I didn't want
anybody's
to have a
back,
baby.
though. I'm not riding
That's
on
what it sounds
anybody's
like.
back. What are you talking about? I'm not riding on anyone's back.
Yes, you are. The men who actually care about whether or not she gets to have a abortion or not. Because in your instance here, right, you're talking about men who are just going to go around dumping sperm in any woman and not have to do anything about it afterwards, not have to pay anything, not have to see the
I'm
baby,
talking
not
about
none of that, right?
equality under the law.
The only people who are hurt by women having
Equality under
abortions
the law.
is men who wanted their baby. Men who
Nobody's
didn't
hurt.
want the baby don't care. Some men
Nobody's
don't even know
hurt.
that the woman had an abortion for them. So
Do
that's
you not
that's
understand
whose
that it's
argument you're
optional?
using.
Your argument
You're
makes no
using it to
sense
try to say
because
that
if
this
a
would be
man, no,
equality
your
for two
argument
different
makes no
groups of
sense
men and
because
two
if a
different groups
man
of women.
wanted the child,
These
then
aren't
guess
even the
what he would
same
not do?
people.
He would
This
do
is
the
not
same
the
thing
same
of a
people that you're
woman
talking
that
about.
wanted a child and not have a financial abortion. So what you're saying makes no sense. If the man wants the child, then he would not have
Just
a
say you
financial
don't
abortion.
understand it. Don't say it doesn't make any sense. It makes
It does
perfect
not make.
sense.
Listen,
Because what they can
if you
do
give me
is
20
both
seconds,
people
I'll
put their
explain why
clothes
what
on
you
and
said
walk
makes
out of
no
the room,
sense.
is what they
Give me
could do.
20 seconds so I
They
can explain
could
why what you said makes
decide
no
to
sense.
work it out and raise the child
Let
together.
me
They could do
explain to
those things.
you.
But
Let me explain to you how what you
in your
said makes
first
no
round
sense.
is that if she gets a choice, why doesn't he? They both
No,
should get
let
no
me
choice.
explain
If
to
they
you how
both
what
walk
you said
grownly
makes
in
no
there
sense.
and get naked and have children, then
All right, let me know when you're
and
done,
have
because
sex, then they
I'm
can
done
both walk
explaining this to
grownly
you.
out and take care of
We're
this
not gonna
child.
move past
I
it. I'm
think
done
that
explaining to
neither
you.
one of them should be allowed to do either one of those
No,
things.
I'm going to explain it to you. This is how
You can
what you
say
said
that this is your
makes no.
view, but
If you let me say
it's
it, I
not
will explain
helpful.
it. If you
It
will let
doesn't
me
make
say it, I
sense.
will explain
It's
it.
just you saying, I want to
Okay,
anger
well, if
black
you let
women.
me
That's what
say it,
this
I
is. This
will
is
explain
you
to you how
trolling
it makes
because
no
I
sense.
refuse to believe that this is a real thing that's gaining any
Okay, well,
actual
let me
traction.
say it to you. Let me say
Nobody
it.
is going to go for this. Not
All right, well,
one
let me
politician is
get
going to
it
back
out.
this. I can tell you this right now.
Because what you're saying now is nobody. Now you're okay. So what you said was I'm riding on the backs. You said the only people that are hurt are the men that would want to have their child.
Right?
If men have the right to have financial abortions and the man wants to have that child, then he would not have a financial abortion. That just like if
Well,
a
he's
woman
not
gets
going to be.
pregnant and she
Those
wants
two
to have the
groups of men
child,
are in
she
different
does
sections. That's
not.
what I'm telling you. Is that you're
What you're
using the
saying makes
men
no
who are
sense.
hurt by the women having an abortion because they wanted their
This
kids.
is not
You're
about
using
being
their
hurt.
argument to say that other men who are upset with this woman for having a child that he doesn't that he can
This
be
is not
able to be let
about
off the
being
hook.
hurt. This is
If he
about
didn't
a
want a kid, there were
fundamental
other things he could have done. If she didn't want a
inequality
kid,
in
there
the
were other
law.
things she could have done. Why
Listen,
is
this is
that?
a
Why are we
fundamental
leaving that off the
inequality
table?
in the
Why is
law.
that not what the
And
petition
what you
is for?
keep saying is you will roll back both of them, or you don't like my
Yes,
approach to it.
yes,
I'm not here. I'm not arguing to roll back anything. I'm arguing
exactly. So you
for
don't
this.
actually want equality
I'm
because see, that would
arguing
be
for
the only
that doesn't.
instance in which it would be equal, in
No,
which there is
I'm
no child
arguing.
being
That's
made
your opinion
altogether, or
about
either
that.
if the child is
But what
here,
I'm
both
arguing
people
is
deal with
that
it. That would
men
be
should
equality.
have
Is that they
the
would
same
both
rights
now
as
have a
women. And what I'm
responsibility, or
arguing
either
that
either
would
one
look
of them
like
has a
is it
responsibility.
would look
In
like
your
financial
situation, the
abortion for
woman
men.
now still has the responsibility, and just say it. You're doing it to punish the woman because you feel like she should have picked a different dude,
There
and
is
that's
no
fine. But
punishing. You
what
keep
she should
saying it's
have done
punishing.
was
You
leave if
keep
she
saying
wasn't
it's
going to
punishing.
get a
Hold
commitment
on.
out of this.
Why do you call it punishing?
Then
Why
she
do you
should
call it
not have
punishing?
even slept
She
with him.
made a choice. Why do you call it punishing? She
They
made a
both
choice.
made a choice. They both did. Both.
And
It takes two people.
and
Unless you're,
only one of them has the choice to walk away. The woman did not.
they both
Do
should
you
not
think
have
that
the
a
choice
woman
to
has
walk
to let
away.
herself get
That's the
pregnant?
equality. What I'm
Hold
saying
on. Do
is
you think that a woman has to let
your
herself get pregnant?
petition is not actually going towards equality, which is
Listen,
what you
listen,
started this argument
listen.
on. It's not
Yes, it
actual.
is. But
It's not
listen,
actual
do you
equality.
believe that a
It's not.
woman does not control if she gets pregnant? Does a woman control if she gets pregnant? Yes or no? Can a woman control that? Yes or no?
You
Can a
mean,
woman
can
control if she
she
gets pregnant or not?
decide that she wants to get pregnant
Can a woman
after this
control?
interaction? No,
Can a
she can
woman
choose if she can
control if she
stay
gets
pregnant.
pregnant or
She
not?
doesn't
Yes or
choose
no?
if she gets pregnant. She chooses if she
Can she
stays pregnant.
control if she gets pregnant or not? Yes or no?
She chooses if she stays pregnant, not if she gets pregnant. That is left up to whoever you believe the higher power is, or if she's on birth control or what have you.
So
That's
you're
a whole
saying a
lot of
woman
reasons.
has no choice in if she gets pregnant or not?
What I'm saying is she can't just decide, oh yeah, when I sleep with this guy, I want him to get me pregnant, but this one I don't want him to get pregnant.
You're
That's not how
telling
that
me that.
works.
So you're saying that a woman cannot choose when she gets
I'm
pregnant.
saying that the way she chooses whether she gets pregnant or not is by choosing the guy that's going to be there for her after the baby is born or conceived or whatever. There is
What?
a whole lot of stuff that's supposed to
You're
be
making
thought
no
about
sense. A
before
woman.
when
The
everybody's
point
emotions
is,
aren't high.
so you're talking around the question. The point is, a woman does
No,
choose, and
you're just asking me a question that
if
is
she
not
chooses to
necessarily
get
set
pregnant,
up in an appropriate manner for this
it was set
conversation.
up in appropriate. It was a yes or no
No, it's
question,
not,
and
because I'm trying to
you
figure out
answered
what.
it
Okay, in
dishonestly.
your instance, she's already pregnant. So why are we even
No,
talking
no,
about
I did not
whether
ask
she
you that. I
chooses it or
asked
not?
you, can a woman choose
You're
when
asking
she
me
gets
questions
pregnant?
that have nothing to do with your petition or your initial statement. So if you really want to go about who's talking on or off subject, this don't have nothing to do with the fact that
Yes, it does. I'll wrap it up in the
it
closing.
doesn't. You just gonna keep saying it. Don't make it
This
true.
is
All right.
ridiculous.
That is going to end the debate. We led off with Lady Topaz. So, for closing statements, we'll be leading off with Brother J.I. 5 minutes on the clock.
All
Brother
right.
J.I., you are up. Pull the trigger. Closing statements.
So here's what it is. Here's the reality of the situation. Okay. When the last question I asked her, does a woman decide when she gets pregnant? Yes, she does, because a woman chooses when she has sex. A woman chooses if she's on birth control or not. A woman chooses if the man wears a condom or not. And then a woman can choose if she keeps it or not. So a woman can choose all of those things. She controls if she can get pregnant, because she has to choose to have sex. And then she has to not be on birth control. And then she has to let him sleep with her raw. All those things. So a woman does choose it. Secondly, she kept talking about this. I'm riding on the back of. I'm not riding on the back of anybody. This is a fundamental flaw in the law. I already said earlier, when Roe v. Wade came about, the pendulum swung too far and it overcorrected. It gave all the power to women, and now men have no power. I want to put it back in the middle, where women have the right to abortion and men have the right via financial abortion. Okay? She keeps leaving out that if a man chooses financial abortion, the woman still has to choose to have that child. And it begs the question to me, why any woman would even allow herself to become pregnant, okay, and allow herself to even get far with a man that does not want to be a father to her. So if she does that, it is certainly her choice, but it's unwise of her to do. So women don't want responsibility. And how I know this, she kept saying you want to punish women. It's not punishing her. Women can already go and get sperm donors now and choose to have a child on their own. That already happens. Women can adopt children. or get a sperm donor and get pregnant themselves. That happens every day. It's not a punishment. It's the woman making a choice. The woman has to make a conscious choice to, hey, do I want to keep this? The first choice she made was allowing herself to become pregnant. That was the first choice that she made. The second choice, if she chooses to keep that child, now she's chosen to carry to term a child. And if she's chosen to carry to term a child with a man that does not want it, that's not the man's fault. That's her choice. So I'm saying this very slowly so that the people listening can understand what I'm really saying. Women have all the choice. Okay. If we want things to be equal, which is what I want, then men have to have the choice as well. The best way to do that is to give men financial abortion. And we can argue about what that looks like. That's debatable. But this is my stance on it. And another thing, if women, okay, because she was talking about these kids are going to grow up and come looking for the fathers and all this nonsense. Listen, they're gonna have the women that choose to have a sperm donors or choose to adopt or whatever. They're gonna have to have those conversations with those kids. Like, look, I wasn't with your father. Your father didn't want you. I thought it was a good idea to have you anyway and raise you. And they're gonna have to make do. But it is their choice. Okay, talking about the society and what the government's gonna have to intervene. That's a separate conversation, which is also worthy of debate. But that had to be a completely separate debate of the welfare argument and how much the government should be intervening. I don't believe the government should be intervening in personal relationships at all or compelling child support or anything. I don't believe that the government should have any hand in that. I don't believe there should be any child support in it, nothing, because I believe that is a gross overstep of the government. People should be working out personal relationships amongst themselves, and the government should just be providing public service and ensuring that liberty and property are protected, not intervening in personal relationships. That's why we had such a decline, because we had the government, a third party, stepping in to what was between two consenting people. It should stay between those two consenting people, and whatever happens to the child should be worked out between those two consenting people. The government should have nothing to do with that. Period. It's a gross overstep of the government. But back to this. She never once disagreed that it's unfair. She understands that the system's unfair. She just understands that it favors the women. So, like most women, they do not care because they understand the situation favors them. Okay. I don't seek to repeal their right to repeal Roe v. Wade, like she said several times. That's not my argument. That's somebody else's argument. I don't care about that. I just want men to have our own. We'll call it, J.I. versus Wade. Okay, where men can have financial abortion and have the same rights over their future and when they become parents. All right.
All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Lady Topaz, you are up. These are closing arguments. Pull the trigger.
Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that I did know that this petition existed. I just had never clicked on it or looked at it or even, I didn't give it any thought. And I'm not saying that to be condescending. What I'm saying that is that I don't believe that that is the route that we need to take if Mr. J.I. actually feels like he wants women to be more responsible. I've seen some comments in the chat, as well as I think J.I. alluded to the fact that I'm trying to cover for Black women's irresponsibility. I absolutely am not. What I am saying to him is that you don't need a petition that says that men get to walk away from the financial responsibility of children, is because the whole reason why I brought up the child support office with the Attorney General, at least here in Texas, those are two separate issues. If you pick a man that is not willing to or cannot pay, they can try to get the money from him. But if he's not working a job, they can't, there's nothing they can do. And then he can't give up, like she can't take his rights. She can't do anything but be forced to work with him, and what it is that he believes that he has available for this child. So what I'm saying is these things are already in place. The petition, as the way he described it without me having read it, does not sound like it's equality. I believe that that is not necessarily what he's after here, which is the reason why I brought up, punishing women, is because I don't think that this is going to be equality. He mentioned that he wanted for the government to be out of relationships, for people to work it out between them two. Yes, I agree with that. And I think that equality would actually mean, rolling back Roe versus Wade. I understand why it was put in place. I get that. But what I am saying is, yes, I agree. The pendulum has swung too far. The answer to this is now, right? Now that we all know, when we have modern medicine that can prevent the need for abortions, is that you need to take those steps in the first place. So now, the first thing that he mentioned was, does a woman choose to get pregnant? Yes, she does. But so does a man choose who he gets pregnant. I don't understand what the point of that is, because none of this sounds like equality. In order to facilitate adult responsibility, both people need to understand that there is a consequence. If you walk into a room, have sex with someone, right? You're at their mercy at that moment. You have to hope that the other person is using some type of protection, or either that the guy's pullout game is good. Absent of either one of those, a baby could be made. I need both thinking adults, both thinking men and thinking women, to pick who they are going to have a child with and raise a family with before they start going in the rooms and having sex. This petition, to me, just sounds like it is a way for men to avoid responsibility, which creates a society of chaos, which is why I brought that up. Is because it's not making either side responsible. It's making both people irresponsible. The government will have more of a say so then, because this petition is all about you going to the government saying, is it okay for me not to pay for this child? So you are bringing the government in. How can you say that you want for the government to be out of people's relationships if you're literally creating a signature of a bunch of people who are saying, hey, government, please come in here and tell this woman that I don't have to pay for this child because I don't want it. So when I first initially started, that's why I asked the question is, how soon does he need to make that decision? Because if he's not going to pay for the child, if she's too far along, if he decides this at 8 months in, then because she doesn't get that amount of time. So if he decides this at 8 months in, now there is a child that grows up bitter and angry at both of its parents. And now we all in society have to put up with this. I could raise my kids amazingly, but if you unleash, a serial killer because you wanted the mom to have to, learn a lesson about not picking you if you didn't want a kid with her, all of that, I think, is just it doesn't get what he's saying that this petition is for. So I feel like, since, we know where the answer began with Roe v. Wade, the answer to getting equality and to making adults more responsible would be to more likely repeal that than it would be to say that the man has no financial responsibility, because that child, if it's on this earth and we don't want bitter adults, somebody is going to be paying for this child. Or are you thinking that people are just going to sit by and watch the child starve? Because I doubt that that's going to happen. And in that case, they're going to grow up. They're going to have a feeling about this. And I've worked with children, and I know what the end result of this is. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've worked with it. I happen to know that that is the end result. And what he's talking about is making it worse.
All right.
All right. Let me rebut this madness. I said,
wait a minute.
Ideally,
Wait a minute. So where are we at now?
That's closing statements. That was closing statements. The debate is over. The debate is over. So now we go to the polls. If you believe,
oh Lord,
that Lady Topaz won the debate, put a T in the chat. If you believe Brother J.I. won the debate, put a J in the chat. Do not vote twice, because if you do, my moderators will block your black ass. Vote once.
All right, and let me, while they're voting, let me say this. I said ideally the government wouldn't be involved. The reason the petition is for the government is not because I like government involvement, it's because that's how things work right now. So of course,
So why
I
don't
can
we
go
get
to
the
the power
government
that's
out of
in
being
place.
involved in?
That's a
So
separate.
why don't
Hold
we
on,
just do that?
I'm not against that, and that's a separate thing. But let's not talk like I just want the government. And the second thing is,
Okay, so you
you
get to
keep
lay out
talking,
the
you keep
parameters
saying it's
about
not
what's
about
important to this
equality. Here's how
conversation.
it's
I'm
about
just
equality.
saying, like, if you feel like that's ideal, let's
Can
shoot for
end
the ideal.
her
And if you land
responsibility to a
upon
child
other things, you
after it
still
is
are happy.
born.
It's still
Can
better
a
than what you
man
had
do the
at
same
first. Why
thing?
not shoot for the best?
This is a simple calculus because you keep saying it's not about equality. Yes, it is.
It's
And the
not.
simple
It's
question
not.
is
In
this.
one
The
case, there
simple
is a
question is this.
baby, and in the other one, there is
Can
a
a
dead
woman
baby.
end her
That's not
responsibility
equal.
to a pregnancy? Can a woman end her responsibility after pregnancy? The answer is yes. Can a man end his responsibility after
So
pregnancy?
you're talking
The
about
answer
the
is no. So
responsibility,
it's
but you're
not
telling
equal.
me I'm
I'm
taking up for
talking about
irresponsibility?
what's allowed by the law. I'm talking about what's allowed by the law.
But
And
you're
what the
literally sitting here
reality
saying
is,
since they
no,
don't
hold
have to
on.
be
What the
responsible, we shouldn't
reality
either.
is,
Instead
it's
of
not
making
equal
them both
because
responsible.
hold on, a woman can end her
All right.
responsibility after pregnancy, but a man cannot
So you're
end
just
his
gonna keep saying the same
responsibility
thing over and
after
over
pregnancy.
again. All right.
That's a fact. No, that is a undisputable fact, and that is the
Okay.
basis of my petition.
According to you.
Are you saying
It's
that's not a
according to
fact?
you.
You're saying that's not a fact?
No, it's not a fact. She can have an abortion, but also
Which is
that
ending
still
her
doesn't solve
responsibility.
the responsibility thing that you
Can a
keep
man
trying to
have an
throw out
abortion?
there.
Can a man have an abortion?
No, he can't, but he could also
Okay,
be
there you
opting
go.
out of raising a child or paying them.
There you
You
go.
act like there haven't been women that have had children and the guy didn't pay any child support and he didn't have any financial
He
responsibility. Is
legally
that
is
not
on
a
the
fact?
hook
Does
for
that
it.
not happen?
He's legally punished for it and on the hook for it.
Okay, I know plenty of people that haven't gone to jail for not paying
No. I
child
said
support. They
legally.
don't
I
have a
said he is
job.
Hold on a
legally
second. Hold on a second.
Legally. Yes,
he is
legally.
legally
They
held
aren't being held
responsible.
Hold on.
responsible
Hold on. Hold
legally.
on. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna go ahead and call this one for brother J.I. This one is
Yeah.
really
I figured as much.
but continue. Well,
Yeah, let
like I said, I don't
let me
know.
say this one more thing to it.
Hold on a second, brother Jay. I don't know what y'all look like on time, but y'all know we usually do the Q&A after the debate. What you look like on time, brother J.I.
Oh yeah, I can answer whatever questions they got. Yeah.
What you look like on time, Lady Topaz.
I got like maybe 30 or 40 minutes or so because it's after 11 here.
All right. So if you want to ask questions of my debaters, y'all know how we do it here. Those questions must be Cash App or Super Chatted, or I will not read them, Negroes. Carry on.
Let me before I dig back into this, because we completely disagree on this, but I do want to say that I respect Topaz for having the discussion, having the courage to have the conversation. I
Well,
do
and thank you for
respect that.
coming up for having a debate. I mean,
But back to
I
the
do
point.
appreciate that.
You understand that it is completely unfair because you already said that a man cannot have an abortion, but a woman can. And you understand that a man is put on paper, and even if he can't afford to pay the bill, it still accumulates and he can go to jail for not
I
paying.
think we
You
agree on the
understand
fact
that
that it's
legally.
unfair. I think we differ in which direction the fairness would be. I think the fairness would be for neither one of them to be able to shuck responsibility because I won't let me just say my overall goal for grown people is for everybody to be responsible. Like and to say that anybody could walk away from anything, that's just
That's
letting
not the
both of
world we
them
live
still
in.
do more of the problem, in my opinion.
That's not the world we live in. So I have to deal with what's legal.
It's
I'm not
not the
dealing
world
with
we live
what's
in because it's
right
not the
and
world
wrong.
we willing to
I'm
make.
dealing with what's
We
legal
make
and
the world.
illegal.
If we tell them, if we put it in place, people ain't gonna have no choice but to get on board. If we're gonna ask the government for something, we need to be asking for something that's gonna make sure that both people have to be responsible. We can make like all of these laws and all of this stuff that exists now is because somebody went up there and said, "Hey, put this in writing." So why can't we do the same thing?
We could. You want to do it a different way. I want to do it this way. What you're saying is right on that, which is that people control what happens ultimately. And I want to, which is why I made a petition where I talk about this every chance I get, because once enough men come to the realization, because Roe v. Wade wasn't a thing until Roe v. Wade. Who's to say one day there won't be a J.I. v. Wade? It could be. If I get enough men to support it, and it is common sense, because you agree that it's unfair, you just don't want to give men financial abortion. You said you agreed that it's unfair.
Well, I'm not saying I don't want to give men financial abortion because I feel like, like I'm not doing it to be mean to men. I'm doing it because I feel like both people need to just, like wake up. Like that's not okay. I'm tired
But see,
of
it
having
doesn't matter
generations of
why
people
you're
just
doing
falling
it
in bed
because
with
it still
anybody.
hurts men. It doesn't matter why you're doing it because it still hurts men.
It won't hurt
What you're
the men
saying is,
if the woman,
well,
if
I
women,
know it's
if you
unfair,
want, okay, so
but
here's the thing. If you want women, because you did mention this earlier, you said you wanted
I don't want
women
women to
to
do
be more
anything.
responsible.
No, I did not. I said I don't care
You
how
did say
irresponsible
that
women are.
earlier, but okay.
No, I said clearly, I think it's foolish for them to do it, but I do not care if they do it. I just want men to have the same rights. I don't care what women do. They have the choice, is my point. They have the choice. A man cannot make a woman a mother, but a woman can make a man a father. That is not fair. And legally, I'm speaking from a legal standpoint. That's what this is, not morality, not what you feel is right or wrong. From a legal standpoint,
Why do
a
you
woman
keep
can have
saying
an
this?
abortion.
Okay. So I mean, and I get it. I know that over here in this sector, y'all don't like to talk about emotions, but make no mistake, okay, none. That emotions do play a part in the reason why we have some of the laws that we have, and a lot of the things that y'all are held to abide by came from somebody's emotions. Let's be clear. So you can try to act like you see, now that to me is you trying to create an ideal world where everybody's acting and there's no emotion involved. You could say
What are
that,
you
but
talking
people are going
about?
to still have emotions when they make decisions. That's
Who,
going to
I didn't
happen
say anything about them. When did I say anything about emotions?
because you said I keep trying to put into your argument emotions and stuff, and I'm telling you that
I didn't
it's
say
not.
emotions. I said you keep trying to make it a morality thing or a right or wrong thing. And I'm not talking about right or wrong. I'm talking about legal and illegal, which means that a man should have an ability to terminate his responsibility after pregnancy, which women have. Women have the ability to terminate responsibility after pregnancy. Men do not. That does not equal. That's a little equal sign with a slash through it. I need it to equal. And the way I want it to equal, the way you want it
Yeah,
to
the
equal
way
is
you
to
want.
repeal Roe
That's
v.
a
Wade.
desire.
That's the way you want it to equal. You want to take back Roe v. Wade to make it equal. I don't want that because you know what that's going to do? That's going to
I am in
force
favor of
women,
taking away Roe
hold
v.
on,
Wade
that's
because
going
I
to force
believe that
women
in
to
that
have
instance,
children
people
that
will
they don't
rise
want.
up and do what they're
That's going to
supposed to
force
be
women
doing.
to have
Yes,
kids they
morality,
don't
right
want.
versus wrong, because that's how we live in this world.
No, that's going to force women to have kids they don't want and force back alley abortions and wire hanger abortions. I don't want that. I just want men to have the same right on the other side. That's what I want. That's the way I want to see it implemented, and that's
I
why
just
I
don't see
argue
that as the
for it.
same though. Like,
It is the same. It is factually the same.
it's not factually the same. You just keep saying that. Like,
It is factually the same.
okay, no, see, because you're saying, right, that rolling back Roe v. Wade is definitely going to lead to women having all these back alley abortions and all that kind of stuff. Well,
That's
guess
what
what?
they were
In back
doing
alley
before they
abortions,
had it.
die. So
That's
if
what
she
they were
wants
doing
to do
before they
that,
had it.
then that's going to be her choice because she could have done something way earlier than that would have led to her not having a back alley abortion.
See, you talking about me punishing women. You want to punish
I'm
women.
not punishing anybody. I'm saying
You
that
want
people
to
need to
punish
wake up
women.
and use their logic. And if I have sex with this person, a baby could be born. Anything other than
Yes,
that
you
is
want to punish
medicine
women.
or hope and
Not
prayers
me.
or whatever.
You want to punish women, not me, because you
I
just
don't.
said
I
she
don't want
wouldn't
to
have to
punish
get a back
anybody.
alley abortion if she made a good decision and wasn't having sex for marriage. That's you. You want to punish women. I don't want to punish women. I
I
want
don't
her
want
to
to
have a
punish
choice.
anybody.
I want her to have a choice. I just want men to have the same choice. And what it looks like so that a man does not have dominion over a woman's body is his choice is financial. We already
So you
have
believe
women
that women
who
have
get sperm
dominion over a
donors.
man's pockets if she gets pregnant?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
see,
That is what
no.
child support. Hold on. That is what child support is. It is an outside entity saying if you do not pay this bill, which we determine the amount of, and it's different for every man. If you do not pay this bill, we don't care what you're going through, whatever. And there's countless stories. There's a man called Mr. Palmer on YouTube. He does a great job
Yes,
of
I've
pointing
seen
this out.
him.
Okay, so you're familiar with him. There's countless
Hmm.
stories of it. It is a third party saying, if you do not pay this bill that we determine the amount of, we are going to ruin your life up to and including imprisoning you. That is what it is. That is
But
giving
people
a
find
woman
loopholes
dominion
to
over a
stuff
man's
all of the
pockets. Yes,
time.
it is. What?
That's only if you get like this is
I
if
don't care
you
what the only is. I'm not men shouldn't have to hula hoop and dodge lasers and all that. No, He shouldn't be under the fire, under the scope in the first place. It's
Well,
wrong.
he wouldn't
You
even
don't
have
care
to worry
about that
about that
part,
if he had left
but
her where
it's
she
wrong.
stood.
What?
He wouldn't even have to worry about that if he left her where she stood.
See, you trying to punish people with
I'm
the
not punishing
you
people.
should
Why
have
do
left
people
people
keep
around.
saying that? I'm not punishing anyone.
That's what you
I'm
know. You're
requiring
talking
them to
about punishment.
think.
You're talking about that Puritan day age where if
That's
you
not
put your
okay.
hand in
So
fire,
if
you
you
get
have to
burned.
make a decision, I didn't say you had to be a nun or a monk or anything. I'm not trying to make people Puritan. You just need to choose who you sleeping with. That's it.
No, see,
You can
that's
still
and
choose.
that's the direction that you want to take it in. I want to take it in the direction women already have what they need. Men just need to get what we need. Women a woman doesn't have to have a child if she doesn't want to.
So
Every
now I'm
woman a
punishing
child
people.
has in
Oh
America, she
Lord.
chose to have it. Do you
Okay,
agree
so
with that?
listen. So according to
No, hold
y'all,
on. Do you
I'm
agree with
punishing
that?
people and letting people be irresponsible.
Do you agree that every woman that has in America, when women get pregnant, they choose to have that baby? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, then. So that means the women already have the choice. They already have a choice. Men do not have a choice after pregnancy. And that is the part where it's unequal in the law. Men are getting railroaded in court. Men are being forced to pay child support that they can't afford. Men's lives are being ruined, passports, licenses suspended. Now, let me ask you this. If they really wanted a man, if it was really about money, which it's not, why would they put a man in prison? He can't make any money in prison. This is
Oh,
about
but the
breaking the
government
man.
does, and it's a
This
deterrent.
is about
It's
the
a deterrent
government
to other
breaking
people,
men.
and the government makes money off him being in prison.
No, this is about the government breaking men, which is why what I said earlier, I said I believe that the government should have no place in our personal relationships, period. And that's what I said, ideally, when you
Yeah,
asked me why I'm doing a
ideally. And
petition.
I think
They
we
should
just
have no
disagree
place.
on
And guess
what.
what? This would work itself out socially. If we took the government out completely, it would work its way out socially, just like it did back in the day. Women wouldn't be promiscuous, and men couldn't just have sex with random women because you'd have to be married to them. Because guess what?
Wait,
There would be
okay,
consequences.
okay, let's deal in reality then, right? What about all of these countries where there isn't access to abortion, and you got all of these mothers with different kids and all of this that are just starving somewhere waiting on us to send money over there?
We shouldn't be sending them any money.
Yeah, but we are. That's the world we live in. If you're talking about the world we actually live in without feelings and all of that, we live in a world where that's what they're doing.
No, because people have allowed it to get there. We need to roll that back. The government's place should not be in our personal relationships, period. But that's a separate argument. And all these problems would fix themselves. It would sort itself out if the government completely removed its hands, and it would sort itself out socially like it always has since the beginning of time when women understood that you had to be married and it had to be a family unit. What we've done is, since the family has eroded away, listen, some genius you just can't put back in the bottle. But what we can do, listen, if men can become women and women can become men out here, men
No,
can
see, I
get
didn't go
these
that far.
financial
See,
rights.
no, I didn't do that
Listen,
one.
men can get these rights. We just got to fight for them, and we just got to be vocal about it. So every chance I get, I bring it up.
Well, I
I
mean, you
always say,
certainly have the
I
right
never know
here in
who's going to
America
hear
to
it.
fight for whatever rights that you feel like are owed to you. This
That's
was a
right.
debate for me to say that I don't think you're going to be happy with the outcome if you win. You
No,
you believe you will
the
be.
outcome would be great.
I'm
The outcome would be
saying,
great.
okay, that is how you believe it to turn out. And I'm just saying that that's not going to be as fun as you are imagining it.
Do you honestly believe that if the government didn't give women money and women didn't get money and subsidized when they got pregnant, they didn't get help? Do you believe that women would still get pregnant at the rate that they do now? Or do you believe that they would get pregnant less? Or do you
Well,
believe
no,
they would
and
get
here's
pregnant
why I say
more?
that is because when
No,
they
which
put the
one?
cap on,
Which
like
one?
they used to be unlimited. Now is I think 3 kids, and after that
No,
you on
no.
your
I
own.
said if they took away government housing, if they took away child support and welfare, do you think women would still get pregnant at the rate they do now? Or would they get
I
pregnant
said
less?
no,
Or would they get
but
pregnant
I
more?
also think that they would do
You
other
said they would get
retarded
pregnant more?
things that you're going to be even more equally
Wait.
angry
You
about,
said
and
they
you're going to
would get
start another
pregnant more?
petition.
You said they would get pregnant more if they lost benefits?
I did not say that. I did not
Which
say
one
that.
did you say? Less or
I said
more?
no.
You said no. No wasn't even a choice. Is it less
You
or more?
asked me, I think that women would get pregnant the same amount if there was no welfare and all of that, and I
And I
said
said, do
no.
you think it would be less or more?
Well, no, at first you said, do I think they would get pregnant at the same rate? And I said no.
Right. And I said, do you think it will be less or more? No
Oh,
means it
well,
could be
it will
more.
probably be less, but just barely.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay, so you're going to start a petition, do all of this work for a small, not even statistically significant difference, because you do realize that they would just do other stuff that you'd be equally angry
Wait a
at.
minute. You think it would be small?
Yes.
You think it would be a small reduction?
Yes.
Listen, I'm here to tell you right now
Hold on a
that the
second.
first.
Okay, hold on a second, brother J.I. Hold on a second. We got a $5 super chat from my man, Perfect Black, my Chi-Town brother. Appreciate that $5 super chat. He said, question to Miss T. If a mother abandons her child at a police or fire station, should the father be relieved of child? Should the father be relieved of child all support obligations or of all child support obligations?
He wouldn't have any child support obligations because then they're going to ask him if he wants custody, in which case he wouldn't be paying any child support. If he doesn't want custody, he probably will be paying child support, and so will she to whoever's raising the child. She doesn't get off the hook when she drops a kid off at the fire station.
All right, we got another super chat from Brother Gold Professor. I appreciate that $5 super chat, Brother Gold. He says, what does deflection, derailment, and denial mean at Topaz? Gold Professor.
These are all coping mechanisms and also, things that you're not supposed to do in a debate, neither of which I did today. So, I mean, you want a specific definition, you got Google, you can type it in. That's my answer. I just have to answer it. I didn't. Well, no, because you know what? Because I already saw them all the way down there talking about I'm deflecting and all of that kind of stuff. I never got my question answered in the debate either. But did I go around typing all in the chat saying he's deflecting and all of that?
Hold on, no. What question did I answer me right now? What question did I not answer?
Is why would you pick this as the answer instead of why do you think this is equal? And I know you gave me words. You gave me words, but it did not explain.
I gave you
why
words.
You think this is equal.
I explained it several times. Well, let me re-explain it right now. I said it several times.
You gave me words.
No,
but it doesn't mean that you have sufficiently convinced me that this is equality.
I don't have to convince you that it's equality. I have to explain to you why I think it's equality. I told you why. Women
that's why you think it's equality.
Women have a choice, and I said I don't want them to lose their choice. Like you said, you want to repeal Roe v. Wade. I said I don't want to do that. I just want men to have a choice as well. And the way I want them to have it financially, because I don't want men to have dominion over women's bodies. So I don't want men to be able to force women to do anything with their body. So it has to look financial for us. And then it would be like a woman who got a sperm donor. It would be treated like that, which women already do. That is why. And I've said that several times. That would be equal. That will be both parties having the ability to make a choice after conception of whether or not they want to go through the parenthood. That would be equal. They both have a choice and a way to opt out across the board. Was that more clear?
I mean, I guess if I don't say yes right now, this will never end, right? Because I still don't agree. I'm sorry, I do not agree. But you have phrased it in a term in which you feel like you expressed everything you needed to say.
Okay.
Well, I hope you brothers got your super chat questions answered. Let me see here. Well, I want to say this because brother J.I. has been up here quite a few times and he's debated this quite a few times. I wish him all speed in his petition, and I've told him this many times before. That is probably going to be a tough sell. I don't see it as impossible, but I do see it as a tough sell. But me, I'm going to say this: anything that would kind of curb, the single motherhood thing. I mean, anything that would curb it. a financial abortion, mandatory birth control pills that you got to take. I don't know, a meter attached to your vagina, whatever the hell it is. Anything that kind of curbs, this single motherhood thing, because I think we gotta, because you have a lot of people, right, who say, oh, y'all always talk about single mothers, single mothers, single mothers. And the reason why people talk about it is because people read. People read the stats. They read the rate of single motherhood. They read the percentage of people that are in prison that don't have fathers, the percentage of people who are on drugs who don't have fathers, the percentage of people who are homeless and all this kind of stuff, and criminals and everything else, test scores and all those things have correlation to single motherhood. And people have a tendency to try to disregard it and say, oh, it doesn't matter. God damn it, yes, it does. It does matter, God damn it. And we want to sit up here and say it don't, when our rate of single motherhood percentage-wise is higher than anyone else's. So it does matter, because if you was to say, okay, if you was to take, say we flip-flopped it, and say 7 out of 10 of us were not born to single mothers. What if 7 out of 10 of us were born to intact families? What if 7 out of 10 of us were raised by our fathers? You're trying to tell me that black society wouldn't look different? That's BS. That's BS, because that's what you're saying. If you're saying, oh, it doesn't matter, it does matter. And to this, I have to refer to the honorable and the greatly respected gem dropper, Minister Jack.
No, sell it to the people. Sell it to the people and sell it to the world. You tell us single motherhood is good. How have we benefited from single motherhood? Some of you niggas just survived it. You just survived it.
Yeah. So that is my stance as well. That is why I played that. That is why I played that clip, because I mean, we got to do something. I mean, we got to do something, or should I say, they have to do something.
Well, here's why they won't, and why the government stepped in. See, the government intervention was to ruin relationships, because now there's a third party offering rewards in the form of alimony, child support, taking half a man's stuff or whatever, compelling men and taking away all the responsibility of women. No fault divorce. You just do whatever you want. The kid don't even got to be yours. If the man signed the birth certificate, he still got to pay. See, all this stuff, that was the destruction of the relationship and the breakdown of society. And what we're just seeing is slowly is coming apart. The fabric of America is slowly unraveling because the family's been destroyed. It's happening the worst for blacks because, we're the canary in the coal mine, and that's just what it is. But eventually, it's going to somebody's either going to be like me and say, okay, no, we need to make things really equal. See, there's two things that will save this: making the law truly equal, like what I seek to do, or completely repealing it away and making it back like how it was, and repealing Roe v. Wade and taking away women's rights and all that stuff and making it more traditional again. Those are only two ways to save society. If we keep it like it is, it's going to further erode into nothing until there's nothing left to save, and the country's just going to collapse. That's just what it is. Societies are built on families, and when you don't have them, you tell one side you can do whatever you want with no consequences, and we'll back you up and welfare and whatever, and you destroy the men are going to opt out.
But my side would support families. Yours is making more single mothers who are whining now because they're not getting the child support they were counting on.
Why do you keep saying mine is making more single mothers? Does that woman not?
Because people aren't going to stop having sex. They're going to still be having sex.
She does not have to have a child out of it, though.
So you're hoping to coerce her into
No. I'm not
abortion by
hoping for
saying she won't get
anything.
any money. But she
No.
gets the
I'm
money
not
from the
hoping
government by your own
for
admission.
anything.
The government stepped in and gives her money.
The government would not be able to handle but the government that's a separate debate. But the government would not be able to shoulder the burden, and it would back off. Once the government once men get financial abortion, they say, okay, we can't put these men on the hook. The government's gonna be like, look, we can't cut this tab, we can't help you out either. That's what would soon follow. Because
You
right
do
now they're
know that
milking
they're
the men
going
for
to say
breakthrough.
no to your petition before they let that happen.
Listen, you listen, they said no to slavery, they said no to all kinds of things. People fought for it and made it happen. So I don't want to hear it.
You don't have to
They
hear
said
it.
no,
Okay, let them
they
tell
said
you, because
no
I'm just telling you right
to
now, you don't
all
think the
kinds of
government.
things.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
It's gonna be hard argument, and just because it's gonna be hard, you just shouldn't even try to do it. That's everything's hard until somebody does it.
No, I'm saying by your admission, if their goal is to separate black families, they're not going to do it. They're going to say no. They'll dress it up, but they're going to say no. Secondly, if they believe that that means, right, that you're going to go out here and you just get to pump and dump because the women are just going to keep throwing box at you and you can't resist it, right? If you believe that that means that everybody's going to go out there and just do whatever they want, and if the woman has the baby because the government is going to pay her money, they're not going to keep that going. They will repeal the petition. Let's say they say yes to you. If too many women are on the tab, like you mentioned, they'll just repeal your petition.
No, they won't be able to, because look, what it's going to come to. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
going to be revolution. All right, it's just going to be because this whole system is going to have to be drastically changed. I just want it to be fair to men and equal to men. Let me make this point
I hear
clear.
you.
I'm not. If a man is married and he has, his wife, and he says to his wife, "I want us to have a family. Let's have children," and then they have children, he's locked in. He should not be able to leave. That is, I'm not for men abandoning families. What you're talking about, it's not abandoning. It's not family abandonment. Just because
I
a
never
man gets
said
a
it was
woman
family
pregnant, that's not
abandonment.
a. But you said that these men would be able to just go around and have all these kids and be able to walk
Yeah,
away
they
from the
never made a
responsibility.
family. It would be a bunch of
Not a
futures.
that's not he has no obligation to her. She's basically like in the old days they knew what it was. She was a whore and she had a bastard. That we know what this stuff is. We know what it's called. She was a whore and she had his bastard. That's what it was. That's
And
what
so
it
why?
still is today. But now we want to call it something different and dress it up today. It's been that way since the beginning of time. If you had a child with a man that had no commitment to you, and you were not his wife, you were a whore and you had a bastard. That's what it is.
Oh, so okay. So you're saying that if a couple is not legally married, then he gets to walk away as well.
A man will be able to walk away, yeah, with financial. You talking about with financial abortion?
Yeah, if they're not legally married, then he gets to say, you know what? I just want to walk away.
I said even if he's married, he'd be able to have financial abortion.
Wait a minute. I thought you just said that the marriage, the husband doesn't get to have financial abortion.
I said that if a man is married and he says to his wife, "Hey, I want to have
Oh,
kids with
so
you,"
if they
and
married
she
and he
has
didn't ask
kids.
for this, like she just happened to get pregnant, he gets to.
No. If a man and a
Okay.
woman have an understanding that no, period, the man should be able to walk away. Period, because a married woman can have an abortion. So let's get that clear. I believe a man should be able, even if he's married, he should be able to have a financial abortion because women
Mm.
who are married can still have abortion. They can't. You don't go to the clinic and they say, "Well, you can't have it because you're married." That's no. She still can have it, and married women get it all the time. And you can find all these videos of YouTube of husbands complaining about how their wives killed their children. So yes, they
Well,
can.
that's
So
wrong. They're not supposed to
men.
do that.
I'm not dealing with right or wrong. I'm dealing with
I
legal and
know, I
illegal.
hear you. I'm just
I'm
saying,
dealing
like
with
for the
legal and
record,
illegal.
that's not okay. And
Okay,
that
well,
I think should be
I don't think it's
addressed.
okay either. But I'm dealing with legal and illegal, and I want men to be able to have that same right under the law. Right.
Mm, okay.
Legally, the same right. But in my personal opinion, okay, this is personal now. If a man is married and he has a family and then he abandons his family, that is personally not okay to me. I don't believe a man should personally do that. Should he have the right to legally? Absolutely, because women have the right to, and men deserve the same rights. But I don't believe, I know that men are more honorable than society gives them credit for.
Women don't have honor. Men have honor. That's why a woman will sleep with multiple people and pick who she thinks will be the best father and tell him it's his. See, that's not honorable. Men are more honorable than women, period, in my opinion. That's just what it is. And men are not just going around here abandoning families. They're not even with these women. They're just having sex, and the woman just gets pregnant, just has a kid out of it. That is foolish. And the
None
man
of this
deserves
stuff
to
is
be able.
okay, so here's the thing. I'm just saying, none of this is supposed to be happening. I don't agree with any of those things. So me not supporting a petition doesn't mean that I think that it's okay for all of this to happen. I do want you to understand that. It's like you put that in the debate at some point is like what my not supporting the petition, if I'm against the petition, what it means. It doesn't mean I'm okay with any of these things. I just think that there's a different answer that can solve this problem and get back to intact families. I mean that's kind of like what my goal is.
Intact families are gone.
See, and that is where the petition came from. Okay.
No, that's not where the petition came. I've explained ad nauseum why I want men
No,
to have
I
this
hear
right.
you. I hear what you're
And it's
saying.
a right. But the intact family things are gone. There's too many incentives against it.
Well, if I were to start a petition, it would be something to bring those back. Like I'm sorry. I just think that there is a different option, a better option. I'm not, I just don't agree with your view. But, I do, appreciate the fact you're able to have a debate about this.
Yeah, well, this is where Brother JI has all his financial abortion debates.
That's right.
Right. This is where he comes to square off about it.
Yeah, I see.
But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate Brother JI for coming up. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Any parting shots before we blaze out of here?
No, just appreciate you for having me as always, and
absolutely
appreciate the lady for having the debate.
Absolutely.
And that's all I got. Y'all take care.
Yeah, man. You're always welcome here, brother. You know that.
Appreciate it.
Lady Topaz.
Yes.
Came up here, threw down twice against the brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't walk away with the trophy, but it was still a nice time. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You know that this is a male-centered channel.
True.
So, you are, when you come here, you may not be skating, ice skating uphill, but you're definitely skiing uphill. Definitely skiing.
Well, and it went better than I expected. I expected to get 0 votes, but some of them were like, okay, well, I see where you're going with this. It wasn't that bad. I didn't die,
Yeah, well,
this is
the thing. People always say, oh, bias over there, T.P.O.T. But that's not true, because a lot of the people that are here all the time. A lot of these dudes that's in this audience are my day oneers. And the ones that's not my day oneers, they've been here for quite some time. And let me tell you something. They will vote for what they think is the best argument. They're not just going to vote for you because they like you. They're not going to vote for you just because you're a man. Some people are going to vote for what they think the best argument is. That's why I let the audience decide. I don't decide. I let the people decide.
No, but you do have a conglomerate of people who share the same belief system and platform. And so for me, I just feel like that's not a bad thing. At least they heard what I had to say. That's,
yes. And the first one was pretty close. I mean, it wasn't, the second one, not so much. But,
right.
But the first one was pretty close. That's why I say, people say, oh man, it's a bias over there. That's not true, because the first one, like I said, was pretty close. And let me tell you something. Brother SKC, this is home court for him. All right. I mean, that's my man right there. So this is home court. So if it was so biased, you would have got whomped. You would have got
Well, bias would
zero.
be if they voted for SKC and our positions were flipped. If they all of a sudden now was like, yeah, it's cool for people to stay and to help the community just because it's that would be biased. So no, it's not biased.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a platform that survives over here, and I knew that when I picked the
right.
argument to go in on.
And like I said, I mean, Brother Supreme, I mean, he got the keys to the back door of this place. So, I mean, yeah, SKC is, he my folks. So if it was that bias, over here, I mean, it wouldn't have been as close as it was. It just wouldn't have, because everybody knows that, SKC is always around the T.P.O.T YouTube page. So, it's not hard to find him around here. So, no, I just don't buy the whole. I mean, is there some bias going to be in it? Of course, there's going to be some, but I don't think it's as biased as people make it out to be. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. It's not as biased as people make it out to be.
Right.
So,
and and I mean, and here's the thing: I did have to come up here and have a debate, but I don't have any ill will towards either SKC or JI. It's really as simple as if I would sign the petition or not. I wouldn't sign the petition, but I wouldn't try to light the headquarters on fire or nothing. Like it's just I wouldn't sign it, and it ends there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Brother J.I. is well aware of the fact that many women are not going to sign his damn position. He may get a few, but he's not. Hey, what's good, Lady Jazz? I see you up there. Yeah, I mean, he knows that he's not going to get for every 20 men he get to sign it, he might get one woman to sign it. I think he realizes that. I think he does. But I appreciate you coming through. You always welcome here, and everybody knows that Lady Topaz is part of the For the Record TV crew. Get down there, check them out. It's her, Lady Topaz, Brother Third Ward, and Brother Bitcoin L. Get on down there and check them out. And also, she does her own content. So she does double duty. She has her own YouTube page, and she's also down there with the brothers for the Record TV as well. So get on down there and check out Lady Topaz. Any parting shots before we peel out of here?
No, not really. I think I said everything I had to say already. So I said a lot already. So I'm actually out of words already.
All right. Like I said, I appreciate you coming through, and if you ever want to come back and square up again, you know where to come.
Okay.
Knock on the door, and then we'll set it up, and we'll go ahead and throw down. All right.
Okay. We'll do. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Good stuff tonight, man. Got a little heated in here tonight, but it's all good. That's what rapid fire is for. But before we get out of here, good folks, y'all know I gotta hit y'all with some programming notes. What the hell is going on? My camera's out. What the hell? We are experiencing technical difficulties with the camera, y'all. I don't know what the hell just happened here. We're experiencing technical difficulties, folks. But yeah, like I said earlier, tomorrow, y'all, we will be hosting the one and only Reg, the bad guy, will be in the house. The bad guy cometh. I know all of y'all are familiar with Brother Reg. Like I said earlier, Brother Reg was here about 2 years ago. So he'll be here tomorrow. It's going to be a chop up, with us, quote unquote, old niggas. Yeah, Brother Reg will be here tomorrow, man, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. So make sure you have your black behinds here. I'm also trying to set up a debate for Saturday. Don't quote me on it, y'all. I haven't hammered the details of it out yet, so I gotta see what's going on before I can even say anything. You know, I don't know what the hell's happening, so I don't know if we're gonna do it or not. I'm kind of waiting for some confirmations. I actually have my feelers out there for a couple of things, so I'm just waiting to see what's gonna happen, y'all. All right. So I am gonna try to make it happen, though. I am. I promise. I promise, good folks. I don't know what the hell is going on with my camera. Like, what the hell is happening here? I don't know what the hell is going on, man. Something happened. Camera just out for no damn reason. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody out there watching. You know, I appreciate all the super chats and the cash apps. Y'all know I do. I don't take them lightly because I don't take you good folks lightly. Special shout out to my brother Supreme, and brother J.I., and also the guest of honor, Lady Topaz. Like I said, get on down there and check her out on her channel, and you can catch her on For the Record TV as well. So, with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words, you know, like I always do. Open your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind.
Houses of power, houses of power, houses of power, houses of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, say, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion.
The Proper Thought
3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, punk. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper 3D over and over and see white families travel? You think of the thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 42 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are more serious? Think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you do to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it'll start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sac Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
Santana, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. That's 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.